Chapter 28. The Bai family came to their residence. Yun Chuki pouted. Fourth elder, this Yun Chujio is just a piece of garbage that can't cultivate. What questions could she have? The fourth elder snorted coldly, and it was clear that he was displeased. Yun Chuki shut up in embarrassment but decided to direct her anger instead at Yun Chujio by glaring at her. Yun Chujio shrugged. You're blaming me? It's your fault for running your mouth off, you know? Since you don't have any questions, just cultivate, rest well. The fourth elder originally wanted to tell her to train well, but when he remembered that Yun Chujio could not practice cultivation, he forced himself to say rest instead of cultivate. Yun Chujio raised a little dark hand. Fourth elder, I have a question. In addition to the 5 elements, gold, wood, fire, and earth, are there any other elements? 2. No. The fourth elder frowned. What an easy question. Doesn't Yun Chujio know the answer to this? Truly, she's ignorant and incompetent. 2 disdainful snickers rose around her. One was from Yun Chuki, and the other was obviously from that little imp, Yun Chusher. Yun Chujio ignored them and sank into deep thought. That can't be right. She had clearly absorbed dozens of purple light balls, and they were definitely not one of the 5 elements. Yun Chujio could not understand what was going on, so she decided to just cross her legs, close her eyes, and sense the spiritual energy around her. Yun Chujio looked like she was sleeping in the eyes of the other people. The fourth elder shook his head. This child's life can be considered ruined now. If she behaves, the family can provide for her, and she won't have to worry about anything. But if she continues to have ties with Bai Moyu, her life will end in tragedy. After 4 hours, the fourth elder announced the end of today's training and strode out. Yun Chujio stretched, rubbed her eyes, and hugged Yun Chua's arm. Fifth sister, let's go. I'll go to your place for dinner today. I want to eat braised fish with brown sauce, dry braised pork ribs, braised lamb with soy sauce. Yun Chusher glared at Yun Chujio fiercely. Yun Chujio, what mischief are you cooking up, exactly? If you want to eat, go back to your own residence to eat. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Ah, you're so not cute. When Yun Chujio was about to speak, Butler Ji rushed over hastily and said, "A 9th young mistress, the head of household asked you to go to the entrance. The Bai family is here." Yun Chujio's eyes lit up, and she let go of Yun Chua's arm while she spoke excitedly. Butler Ji, come. Let's go together. Yun Chujio walked briskly with her short legs, and like the wind, she dashed off while dragging Butler Ji off by the sleeve. Young Jiu just dumped and forgot about you when she heard that Bai family came over, fifth sister. Seriously, she's really not worthy of your time. Yun Chuki said in a mystifying tone. Yun Chua cast Yun Chuki an indifferent look. We're all sisters. There shouldn't be any talk about whether anyone is worth anyone's time. Yun Chusher was standing at the side, and he clenched his fists. Yun Chujio. Yesterday, she said she wanted to turn over a new leaf, and she made a mistake again today. How despicable. Yun Chusher was so angry that his small face turned red. Elder sister, I told you that Yun Chujio will never change. If you don't believe it, I'll go and see what evil deed she did this time. Yun Chusher then rushed out, and Yun Chu quickly followed behind him. The others looked at each other, and each harbored their own thoughts as they followed them out of the hall. Butler Ji looked at Yun Chujio, who moved ecstatically beside him, and could not help but wonder. Why is the 9th young mistress so fast? This speed is about the same as those at the 3rd level in spirit refinement realm. How is this possible? Yun Chujio ran to the entrance. When the 2 guards at the entrance saw Yun Chujio coming out, they quickly came over to serve her. 9th young mistress, you're here. 9th young mistress. Do you need us to drive them away? Once you give your order, we will immediately take action. Chapter 29. This is blackmail. Butler Ji could not help but marvel about this. He knew these servants. Although they never said anything outright, they looked down on the 9th young mistress in their hearts. Why were these guards so attentive now? How strange. Yun Chujio straightened her petite body, and she waved her hand. All right, you 2 did well. Go to the back. Yes, milady. The 2 guards stepped back happily. Looks like the 9th young mistress was very pleased with their performance. We might get even more money from her later. 2 servants carried a soft couch, and there Bai Moru laid, like a dead fish. When she saw Yun Chujio come out, she started shouting shrilly, "Yun Chujio! You bastard! Pass me the antidote now, or I'll have my brother kill you." "Yo, Bai Moru, what's the matter with you? Did karma strike so soon? Bai Moyu bullied me because I was young and immature and tried to harm me multiple times. At noon he even tried to kill me. Did the karma from all his bad deeds land on you instead? Tisk. Bai Moru, as the younger sister, it's only natural that you atone for your big brother's sins, right? Why did you come all the way to make a ruckus at the Yun residence?" Yun Chujio looked very puzzled, and she did not care that her words had caused a stir of gossip among the onlookers. "Yun Chujio, stop lying. You're just full of baloney. It's you who did this to me." Bai Moru was so angry that she almost passed out. After they returned to the Bai residence, Bai Moyu asked for a physician, but he could not figure out just why Bai Moru ended up this way. In the end, they could only suspect that Yun Chujio had poisoned Bai Moru, which was why Bai Moyu brought Bai Moru to Yun Chujio to settle this matter. "Bai Moru, lightning strikes those who spew nonsense, you know? Who can prove that I was the one who did this to you? You're at the 3rd level in spirit refinement realm, and am trash that can't even practice cultivation. How could I have possibly harmed you? 3 My brother and cousin sister can prove it. You are the wench who did this to me," Bai Moru said through gritted teeth. "Bai Moru, are you kidding me? The 2 people you just mentioned are on your side. It's only natural that they will support you. But it's different for me. A lot of guests in Immortal Gathering Tower and Leisurely House saw you bullying me, just so you know." When Yun Chujio said this, her eyes turned red-rimmed, and her body trembled slightly. "I was eating at Immortal Gathering Tower, but you chased me away, so I ran to Leisurely House to eat, and you went there to kill me. I could only jump down from the 1st floor to escape. Aren't I just pitiful? Fortunately, I'm thin, or I would have definitely hurt myself from the fall. Boo! You're both total bullies. Now, you even came to the Yun residence to smear my name and blackmail me. My fellow countrymen, your eyes are all clear. Tell me, don't you think the Bai residents are bullies? For there were indeed some people in the crowd who were at Immortal Gathering Tower and Leisurely House for food at the time of the accident. When they heard Yun Chujio's words, they could not help but become indignant, and they hit their chests to verify her words. Yes. What the 9th young mistress said is true. She was eating at Immortal Gathering Tower, but was chased away by young Master Moyu. Yes. Exactly. When we were at Leisurely House, young Master Moyu tried to force the 9th young mistress to move to another private room. And later, the 9th young mistress was forced to jump out of the building. Yes, I heard it too. The 9th young mistress cried out for help when she fled at that time, and her voice even broke. The young boys in the Yun family became angry when they heard what the crowd said. Yun Chusher originally wanted to settle his score with Yun Chujio, but now he felt that Yun Chujio was quite pitiful. She was actually bullied by Moyu to this extent? Looks like she meant it when she said she wanted to turn over a new leaf. One as the eldest brother, Yun Chuyi was the first to step forward. Bai Moyu, your family has gone overboard with your acts of taking advantage of the weak. Leave the Yun residence immediately, or we will show no mercy. Just hurry up and go. If you dare to bully young Jio again, we will not spare you. The others also spoke up. Chapter 30. She might have chest pains when Yun Chuji saw that Yun Chuyi and the others had her back. Her petite body quivered even more. Yun Chujio used her sleeve to wipe her tears. Boo! I can't even be considered a decent human being anymore. Bai Moyu used me to do so many things that are harmful to the Yun family, and yet my brothers and sisters still protect me like this. I, Yun Chujio, swear that I will be eternal enemies against Bai Moyu in the future and guard the Yun family until my dying breath. Once Yun Chu saw Yun Chujio crying so badly, she found her heart going out to her, and she took out her handkerchief to wipe her tears. Yun Chuyi, too, thought that they had not paid enough attention to Yun Chujio before this, or else, there was no way young Jio would have been tricked by that sleazy Bai Moyu. For Yun Chuki was the only one who turned her head away and pouted because she did not believe in Yun Chujio's words. As for Yun Chushan, her eyes sparkled. It's no wonder why my brother said that Yun Chujio changed. She's really different from before. One Yun Chujio tumbled into Yun Chua's arms as she sobbed and sniffled, but during that time, she was actually thinking. What the heck? How did fifth sister develop so well? This is a D cup, right? I'm so jealous. 11 Bai Moya's face turned red with rage. Bai Moru had been the one talking just now, and he did not have the chance to speak. He did not expect that Yun Chujio would be able to turn the tables with just a few words. Were the victims, but now were the slanderers and blackmailers. When did Yun Chujio possess such a silver tongue? Does it mean that everything from before was an act to deceive me? Yun Chujio, you know what the truth is. You better hand us Morris' antidote right now, otherwise, the Bai family will not let this slide, and we're not to be trifled with. Bai Moya's expression was livid, and he wanted to strangle Yun Chujio badly. Yun Chujio was still sobbing softly, and she ignored Bai Moyu. Bai Moyu, young Jio already made it clear that what happened to Bai Moru has nothing to do with her. If you don't leave, don't blame me for not being courteous. Yun Chui took a few steps forward. Bai Moyu gritted his teeth. Yun Chui was already 19 years old, and he was also at the 4th level in spirit refinement realm. If he started a fight here, he would not be able to gain any sort of advantage. Besides, this was the Yun family's territory. What should he do? Even if his father and grandfather were to come here, as long as Yun Chujio refused to admit to what she did, the Yun family would protect her, and he would not be able to do anything to her. The Yun family was filled with people who had no sense of dignity as well. Yun Chujio had already betrayed the Yun family so many times in the past, and this time, she even stole the soul-gathering pill, and yet they still defended her. Really, don't they have any dignity whatsoever? Young Jio, I know you are angry with me. What do you want me to do in order to save Moru? I will meet every condition you make, even if you ask me to make up with you, I will. Yun Chuyi and the others immediately turned to Yun Chujio. What? Did young Jio do this because she argued with Bai Moyu? Is she lying to us again? Yun Chujio secretly cursed in her heart. This scumbag is really a sinister son of a gun. Bai Moyu, stop blowing your own trumpet. A sissy like you wouldn't even deserve licking my shoes. I will rather be a nun than marry you. Yun Chujio pointed at Bai Moyu and stomped on the ground as she shouted. The people of the Yun family felt relieved when they saw Yun Chujio acting like this. It seemed that young Jio had really decided to reform herself. Bai Moya's expression was livid with rage. This Yun Chujio? She's too despicable. I'll have to search for a chance to kill her, and only then will I be able to vent my hatred toward her. But what's important now is to cure Moru, and I'll settle this score slowly in the future. Once Bai Moyu thought of this, he forced himself to endure his anger and said, Yun Chujio, stop beating around the bush. Just what do I need to do for you to save Moru? Yun Chujio sighed. Alright, then you might be scum, but I have nothing against Bai Moru. It's a real pity that a healthy girl like her suddenly ended up like this too. I think that she might be suffering from chest pains because of the fall. Maybe, probably, should be, yeah. Chapter 31. Yun Chujio is an imp, Yun Chujio. Bullshit. You're shameless. It's obvious that you're the one who made me this way. Bai Moru rolled her eyes, and she was so angry that she almost fainted. One Yun Chujio threw up her hands innocently. Bai Moyu, I've put all of your past transgressions behind me, and am kind as well as generous enough to tell you the cause of your illness. It's a pity that Bai Moru has refused to appreciate my kindness. You can't put the blame on me now. Bai Moya's gaze darkened. If Moru is truly suffering from chest pains, how can I cure her? It's easy. You can give her a few kicks, and you might be able to set her nerves straight. Yun Chujio blinked. 3 nonsense. Bastard. Brother, don't listen to this wench running her mouth. Kill her. Just kill her. Bai Moru was so enraged by Yun Chujio that she lost all rationality and started to shout hysterically. The onlookers could not help but regard her behavior with scorn, and they began to discuss the matter. TSK, I heard from someone in the past that the 4th lady in the Bai family is arrogant and willful. By the looks of it today, their words are true. Exactly. The 9th young mistress of the Yun family has already put their past transgressions behind her and even helped her to find the cause of her illness. Yet she still scolded her. She's so ungrateful. I think what the 9th young mistress said makes sense. I've heard that some people can't move after a fall, but later on, if someone hits a few spots on their body, by sheer coincidence, they recover. I also heard that someone sprained his waist when he farted, and it was all a coincidence. I think the words of the 9th young mistress are reliable. Who knows? Maybe a few kicks can really treat her. 6 by Moru listened to the crowd's discussion, and she became so exasperated that she shouted, "What kind of rubbish are you plebeians spouting? I'll have my brother kill all of you." The onlookers subconsciously took a few steps back. The Bai family is indeed a force to be reckoned with. We'd best stop talking. Everybody, don't worry. If the Bai family gives you trouble, please come to the Yun residence to seek help. The Yun residence does not oppress people and commit all kinds of crimes, unlike a certain family. Such people will be struck by lightning because of karma sooner or later. Yun Chujio straightened her tiny body and schooled her face. 3 When the crowd heard what Yun Chujio said, they started to lean toward Yun Chujio's side, and even Yun Chujio's dark face became pleasing to their eyes. Bai Moyu clenched his fists. Why has Yun Chujio changed so drastically? In the past, she couldn't even utter a comprehensible sentence, but now, she can stir up the crowd so well. If she remains alive, she'll definitely be a huge problem. I have to get rid of her. However, is what Yun Chujio saying true? Is Moru really just suffering from chest pains? Will she get well after a few kicks? While Bai Moyu was still doubting Yun Chujio's words and alarmed by the situation, Yun Chujio spoke again. By the way, this is just a gentle reminder. You can't kick her however you like when it comes to this sort of chest pain. You have to do it with skill and at a certain frequency. If you don't kick her properly, Bai Moru might spend the rest of her life like this. No. Save me, brother. Save me. Bai Moru was teetering on the edge of a mental breakdown by now. Bai Moyu gave Yun Chujio a dark and ghastly glare. Yun Chujio, stop beating around the bush. My patience is limited. What are your conditions? What do you want before you're willing to treat Moru? Yun Chujio sighed. All right, I don't usually show my abilities, but I can help you give Bai Moru a few kicks. Still, you should know that my body isn't that healthy, and with each kick, I will need a lot of supplements to recover my strength. So, how about this? With each kick, the Bai family pays me 10,000 taels of silver. Since Bai Moru's condition is so serious, I reckon that she will need 50 kicks before she becomes well. 5 The crowd gasped. Oh my goodness, won't 50 kicks mean 500,000 taels of silver? There were complicated emotions in the eyes of those who were smart as they looked at Yun Chujio. What the heck? Who was the one who said that Yun Chujio's a piece of trash and a fool with her head wrapped up in love? She's an imp that will swallow a person whole. Here we are, standing up for her. Why, she has just set up a trap so that she can scam the Bai family out of their money. 3. Chapter 32. Goodbye, I won't be seeing you off. Although the crowd could tell that Yun Chujio was actually an imp, they were not angry. In fact, not only were they not angry, but they even craned their necks further and looked forward to the exciting verbal show-off. Bai Moya's face turned as dark as a thundercloud. Yun Chujio, this is too much. 500,000 taels of silver. Dream on. Yun Chujio sighed in a seemingly helpless fashion. I just want to help. Since you think it's expensive, just forget it, then. In any case, I'm not the one paralyzed. I didn't expect the 4th young mistress of the Bai family to not even be worth 500,000 taels of silver. How cheap. One cheap. You're the one who's cheap. Yun Chujio, I won't forgive you. Bai Moru was so angry that her face twisted into a savage expression. She wished that she could bite Yun Chujio to death. Yun Chujio pursed her lips in an unbothered fashion. It's as they say, nobody can help a stubborn person. Well, off you go. I won't be sending you off. I'm going home for dinner. After Yun Chujio finished speaking and put on a show about really wanting to go back into her residence, Bai Moru became terrified. Grandfather hired the most famous physician in Yi City to treat me, but even he couldn't figure out what's wrong with me. Am I truly going to be like this forever? Brother, give her the silver. Save me. When Baimoru saw that Yun Chujio had really turned around and entered the door, she was finally unable to keep up her stubborn front. Baimoru put on a troubled expression. 500,000 taels of silver is not a small amount. I can't really make the decision. Moru, wait here for a while. I'm going home to ask Grandpa for instructions. Baimoru gnashed his teeth and decided to go back to ask Bai Peng for instructions. Baimora was also aware that 500,000 taels of silver was a big amount, so she could only agree to his decision. Yun Chujio did not care about all that. She skipped back into the residence and waved at Yun Chuu, who was behind her. Fifth sister, let's go. Let's go and eat dinner in your courtyard. I'm starving. Yun Chuu had clearly not snapped out of her daze just yet. She was not a fool, so she naturally knew that young Jio was teaching the Bai siblings a lesson. Bai Moyu is infamous for being a cunning man, but why is he akin to a monkey being led around like a fool in front of young Jio? Yun Chuu was absent-minded as she was dragged back to her courtyard and room by Yun Chujio. Behind them was Yun Chushir, who followed them in an incredibly awkward fashion. Hey, I'm not following you, I'm just afraid that my big sister will be fooled by you. Yun Chushir said arrogantly, but his face was suspiciously red. Yun Chujio cast him a glance, and there was a ghost of a smile on her lips. I'm a magnanimous person, so I will not lower myself to the level of arguing with you, brat. Aren't you filled with adoration for me now? Don't you think that I'm great? You're just a useless waste of space who can't practice cultivation. What's there about you that's worthy of my adoration? I just think you're pitiful. Yun Chushir answered angrily. What an awkward brat. But seriously, it's a real problem that I can't practice cultivation in this space-time continuum. I don't know what the purple element is either. When dinner was served, Yun Chujio's mind was immediately occupied by the delicious food, and the matter of cultivation was thrown to the wind. Hey brat, the drumstick belongs to me. I picked it up first, Yun Chujio. Release it. While Yun Chujio fought for her drumstick, Bai Moyu was being scolded in Bai Peng's study. Moyu, your performance today is really disappointing. Not only have you ruined the good reputation that we've painstakingly built over the years, but you were also led around like a fool by a piece of trash. Bai Peng's expression was dark, a clear indication that he was incredibly displeased. Grandpa, it is true that I was careless today. Be that as it may, how did Yun Chujio become so good with words when I clearly deceived her out of her soul-gathering pill yesterday? It's truly strange. Stop trying to look for excuses. You're an elder brother, yet you can't even protect Ruer. You're really useless. Grandpa, what should we do now? Should we agree with Yun Chujio's condition? Although Bai Moyu was not happy with the fact that Bai Peng favored Bai Moru more, he did not dare show it on his face. Chapter 33. Getting the silver notes, forget 500,000, even if it costs 5 million, well still save her. In the future, it'll make the Yun residents cough up double the silver. As Bai Peng spoke, he brought out a stack of silver notes from a secret cabinet and passed them to Bai Moyu. Bai Moyu found the situation incredibly unfair. Grandpa favored Moru way too much. He did not even hesitate in giving away 500,000 taels of silver. He did not even say a bad word about Moru. Instead, Bai Moyu was the one who was scolded. Bai Moyu took the silver notes over and returned to the area outside the Yun residence's entrance with a gloomy face. The meddlesome onlookers who did nothing but watch and talk about the situation were all craning their necks to look around. When they saw Bai Moyu come back, all of them became excited, and their eyes shone with the desire for gossip. Bai Moyu glared at those surrounding him in a ghastly manner. These stupid fools. If I wasn't here to maintain my family's reputation, I would have killed all of them. When the people of the Yun residence saw that Bai Moyu was back, they immediately delivered the news to Yun Chujio. After Yun Chujio received their report, she calmly drank a cup of tea before she swaggered to the door. Yun Chushir poked Yun Chu and tried to send her signals through his eyes, but Yun Chu did not understand and asked him, 10th, what's wrong with your eyes? Did sand get into them? Yun Chushi's expression froze. He saw Yun Chujia's derisive expression, and he said in exasperation, Yun Chujio, what are you looking at? Did you actually think that you could trick the Bai family out of their silver so easily? You might go out for wool but end up coming back shorn. That time, things won't end with just you embarrassing yourself. Wow, you're not bad, kid. Aren't you thoughtful of me? Don't worry, since I have the guts to do it, I'm fully confident that I can succeed. Don't worry about your sister. Good boy. Yun Chujio pinched Yun Chushi's small face before she quickly moved back. Yun Chusher screamed angrily and chased after Yun Chujio outside. Yun Chu rubbed her temples. Do the Chinese zodiac signs from these two devils clash with each other or something? Why do they never stop fighting? As Yun Chujio ran, she turned around to tease Yun Chusher, but he still could not catch up to Yun Chujio no matter how fast he ran. Yun Chusher was angry, but he could not help finding the situation strange. Yun Chujio is obviously unable to practice cultivation, but why is she able to run so quickly? The two children soon arrived at the entrance as they teased and quarreled with each other. Yun Chujio skipped outside, and once she did, her mouth unwittingly twitched a little at the sight. The people in Yi City did not seem to have any sort of entertainment after their work. In just a short time, there were already a few thousand people outside the Yun residence, and they were all waiting eagerly for Yun Chujio to come out. For Yun Chujio, I've brought the silver notes. If you can't treat Moru, the Bai family will not spare you. The glare Bai Moyu fixed on Chu Yunjio was so fierce that his eyes looked like they were laced with poison. However, Yun Chujio's gaze was like a long hook that was fixed on the thick stack of silver notes. Come now, this can be easily settled. I'm a trustworthy person. I guarantee you that once I get the money, I will get rid of her illness. Now, give me the money. If I'm in a good mood, I'll be able to kick accurately. I guarantee you, I'll give you back a lively Bai Moru. Bai Moyu suppressed his anger and threw the silver notes at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio was not bothered by that. She took the silver notes and counted them for a total of 8 times before she grinned and separated the silver notes into 2 portions. Then, she put them into 2 money pouches. When Bai Moyu saw the money pouches Yun Chujio took out, anger burned so fiercely in him that he almost fainted. Damn it, the money pouches that Yun Chujio's holding are mine and Morris. He had never seen such a plucky thief who would dare take out the money pouches she stole so brazenly and use them in front of the owners. How despicable! Yun Chujio was not aware of what her act entailed at all. Her theory was that since the money pouches were in her hands, they were hers. If Bai Moyu had the ability, he was welcome to snatch them back. She was going to drive him so mad that he died of a stroke. Excuse me. Move aside. Clear up some space for me. I'm using young Jio's shadowless feet as the treatment. Yun Chujio put away the silver notes and skipped along until she arrived before Bai Morris' soft couch. Chapter 34. Young Jio's therapy session. After listening to what Yun Chujio said, the onlooking crowd immediately emptied out some space. Their eyes were wide open, and they were prepared to watch the unprecedented kicking therapy. Yun Chuki whispered to Yun Chushan as she thoroughly relished in Yun Chujio's impending suffering. Third sister, don't you think Yun Chujio is just causing trouble for herself? If kicks can heal, pigs can probably fly too. 5 Yun Chushan's eyes flashed. Maybe our 9th sister is just using kicks as a pretext. It's possible that the head of the household gave her some secret remedy. She previously poisoned Bai Moru, and she's now trying to cure Bai Moru of her poison while kicking her. One Yun Chujio came to a sudden realization and scowled as she pouted. The head of the household is always so biased. Why is he treating this piece of scum so well? 3 Yun Chushan said nothing but gave a thought-provoking smile. Yun Chuki sneered contemptuously at Yun Chujio when she saw that Yun Chushan was not uttering a word. At that moment, everyone from the Bai family had moved away and left Bai Moru alone on the soft couch. Yun Chujio squatted in front of Bai Moru, smiled, and said, Bai Moru, this kick therapy must be carried out continuously without any interruptions halfway, or else there will be consequences. For example, You might not be able to move one of your hands or legs again. Do you understand that? One by Moru was filled with both hate and fear, but she just gritted her teeth and said, "Okay. Why, you can just kick me however you want." Yun Chujio clapped her hands and said, "Then, let's start. I've received your money, and I will now kick you to treat you. I'm a trustworthy person, so I'll definitely kick you 50 times. After Yun Chujio said that, she kicked Bai Moru's waist. Bai Moru flew a few meters away. Coincidentally, her face hit the floor first. Bai Moru moaned from the pain, and hatred filled her heart. "Yun Chujio, just you wait. Once I recover, I'll kill you for what you've done." Bai Moru decided to close her eyes. There were still 49 kicks left. All she needed to do was bear with it, and it would be over. Bai Moru waited and continued to wait. The feeling of suspense filled her heart, but Yun Chujio never kicked her. "Yun Chujio, hurry up." Bai Moru could not help but urge her to move. "Wow, this is my first time seeing someone ask for a kick. You see, my small body is weak and I get sick often. Whenever I kick you, a lot of my primordial chi is spent. I have no choice but to slow down. There's no need for us to hurry." Bai Moru was so pissed that she almost fainted, but she could only lie down and wait. Yun Chujio took out the silver notes and counted them. She smiled like a blooming flower and started to rub her fists before she said, "Young Jio shadowless feet." Yun Chujio skipped up to Bai Moru and started to kick her. Kick, kick, kick the ball. Kick it very high. Kick it over the garden wall. Kick it to the sky. For Bai Moru regained the feeling in her limbs after she endured around 10 kicks, but she dared not move away when she remembered Yun Chujio's warning. She could only let Yun Chujio kick her with her left and right legs. 48, 49, 50. Bai Moru finally managed to count 50 kicks. She thought that Yun Chujio would stop, hence, she did not expect Yun Chujio to say with all apparent seriousness, "Since you're so cooperative, I'll give you another kick. It's to strengthen the efficiency of the treatment." Yun Chujio quickly gave Bai Moru one last ruthless kick the moment Bai Moru was stunned. This kick was more powerful than her previous kicks, and Bai Moru was sent flying more than 100 feet away. She spat out blood, choked a little and fainted. "One more. Moru, are you okay?" Bai Moru quickly ran to Bai Moru's side, pressed down on her philtrum, and shouted, "7 Yun Chujio. You're asking for death." Bai Moru's eyes turned bloodshot, and he wished he could kill Yun Chujio immediately. Yun Chujio shrugged. "You're such ungrateful bastards. I'm just trying to help. Bai Moru's meridian system is blocked, and I was just forcing the extravasated blood out of her body. I didn't even charge you for that. How could you ignore my kindness?" Chapter 35. Please come again. The onlooking crowd started to discuss among themselves when they saw the scene. Yun Chujio is in trouble now. She did not treat Bai Moru, but she kicked her until she spat out blood. Exactly. I told you that this kick therapy is utter nonsense. Let's see how she clears up this mess now. Yes, Yun Chujio is just too money hungry. This is basically the same as her wanting money so much that she's willing to throw her life away. The Bai family will not forgive her this time around. Yun Chujio could not help but glower. The crowd's standpoint fluctuated a little too much. How could they? They've shifted their standpoints so quickly. Yun Chujio caught sight of Bai Moru's eyebrows quivering. She could not help but roll her eyes. "Bai Moru, although I've ended my treatment, some patients have special conditions. They require intense pain and stimulation for them to recover. Don't worry, she will be able to jump around energetically after I give her some stimulation." Bai Moru was doubtful, but he could no longer tell whether Yun Chujio was lying or not. However, he was worried that he would get scolded by Bai Peng if Bai Moru did not wake up. He asked doubtfully, "Are you telling the truth?" "Of course. Since when have I ever lied? Can anyone lend me a dagger or long needle? They'll make Bai Moru bleed a little." Yun Chujio said firmly. Someone in the crowd volunteered. "Miss Yun Jio, I have a dagger." "Miss Yun Jio, I have a long needle. It's used to sew soles to shoes and it should be long enough." "Miss Yun Jio, if that doesn't work, I have a sword. It can be used for bloodletting too." Bai Moru had been pretending to be unconscious, but she immediately felt as if she was on the verge of a stroke. If she did not wake up soon, someone might actually come over and offer up their kitchen knife. Bai Moru immediately opened her eyes and moved her arms as well as legs. She pretended to be excited and said, "Big brother, I can move now. I can move." When Bai Moyu heard Bai Moru say that, he knew that he could no longer cause trouble to Yun Chujio. He let Bai Moru take a blood-clotting pill and helped her onto the soft couch. Bai Moru looked like a drowned mouse right then. Her hair was a mess, and her clothes were covered in dust. There were even bloodstains on it. Bai Moru glared at Yun Chujio. "Yun Chujio, Bai Moru will make you pay for the humiliation I've suffered today." Yun Chujio smiled and cast Bai Moru a glance. "Sure. Please come again. But next time, I will charge you 100,000 taels of silver for each kick." Bai Moru felt anger flare in her chest, and she almost coughed up blood again. "Moru, there's no need to argue with people like her. Let's go." Bai Moyu waved his hand as a signal for the people from the Bai family to leave. Yun Chujio blinked and went to Bai Moya's side to airily whisper, "Bai Moyu, you must remember to eat the soul-gathering pill that I previously gave you. That's a really good item." Bai Moyu stopped moving and scowled. "Yun Chujio, what do you mean?" "Nothing. It's just a casual remark. Don't mind it." Yun Chujio bared her teeth at Bai Moyu and showed him a look that said, "You don't have to think into it too much." A storm raged in Bai Moya's heart. What is Yun Chujio trying to say? Would she be so kind-hearted to remind me to eat the soul-gathering pill, or is something wrong with the soul-gathering pill? Could she have deliberately given me the soul-gathering pill? Have I harmed my grandfather? The more Bai Moyu thought about it, the less confident he became. He went straight to Bai Peng's study when he reached the Bai residence. "Grandpa, have you eaten the soul-gathering pill?" Bai Peng frowned. "Not yet. What happened?" "I suspect that something is wrong with the soul-gathering pill." Bai Moyu then proceeded to voice out his assumptions with worry in his heart. Chapter 36. Girls should be more elegant. Grandpa, Yun Chujio is very cunning. I underestimated her in the past. I suspect that she has done something to the soul-gathering pill. Bai Peng became anxious and doubtful as well. Items meant to be taken orally were to be treated with great care. If he got careless, his cultivation base might end up running rampant, and all of his hard work over the past few years would be gone. The more Bai Peng thought about it, the more terrified he became. Fortunately, he had not taken the pill just yet, or else he would possibly have to face unimaginable consequences. "Grandpa, let's find someone to confirm whether it's safe before you eat it. That's the only choice we have." Yun Chujio is truly wicked to the core. How is Moer, by the way? "She's okay now. She's gone back to rest at her place." Bai Moyu dared not mention that Bai Moru was kicked so hard by Yun Chujio that she spat out blood. Do you perhaps think that I favor Moru?" Bai Peng's eyes were sharply fixed on Bai Moyu. Unable to help himself, Bai Moyu muttered in a slightly flustered fashion, "And no, I just feel that Moru is a little too willful." Bai Peng smiled. "It's okay for girls to be a little more willful. As long as she is pretty and has a good affinity, no one cares. Your aunt behaved the same way in the past, but in the end she still married into the Su family. We just have to make sure that she remembers the good of her blood family so that she doesn't forget her roots. Moru has the most outstanding looks in the Bai family. The Falling Clouds sect has many disciples who come from big families. When you're inside, you should look around to see if there is anyone who can be her suitable husband. If Moru marries into a good family, that would be an advantage for the Bai family. If your aunt did not marry into the Su family, how would we have the ability to fight against the Yun family? Moyu, those destined for great things have to think further ahead. We cannot focus on just the present, understand? I am regretful of my previous attitude. I understand what you mean now." Bai Moya's concerns seemed to be instantly cleared, and the dissatisfaction in him immediately disappeared. The two of them chatted for a while before Bai Moya's gaze gained a fierce light. "Grandpa, Yun Chujio is truly detestable. They'll find a chance to kill her. She is just a human waste who took advantage of the situation." You and Morris' top priority right now should be practicing cultivation and grabbing a chance to pass the entrance exam for the Falling Cloud sect. If both of you reach the 7th level in Spirit Refinement Realm, it would be a piece of cake to get rid of the Yun family, much less Yun Chujio. Bai Peng obviously did not regard Yun Chujio as any form of threat. Bai Moyu may have verbally agreed with his grandfather, but he still made the decision to search for a chance to kill Yun Chujio. Damn it! Which bastard is talking crap about me behind my back? Yun Chujio sneezed violently in Yun Xiaoshan's study. Yun Xiaotian scowled at her. A girl should be more elegant. Yun Chujio grinned. Grandpa, how could an elegant girl get so many silver notes? What do you want? I'll buy it for you tomorrow. When he heard Yun Chujio say that, Yun Xiaotian felt happiness bloom in his heart. He was smiling so widely that he could not even close his mouth even if he wanted to. There was no way he would even be thinking about rudeness and elegance anymore. I'm not lacking in anything. As for you, all your clothes are black. No matter how we advised you, you wouldn't listen to us. Since you're enlightened now, you should quickly get yourself some good cloth so that you own some clothes of brighter colors. When Yun Xiaotian saw that Yun Chujio had been dressed in the attire for the disciples of the family over the past few days, he assumed that the young lady no longer wanted to dress in black. Yun Jio grinned. Grandpa well said, I'll go and get new cloth tomorrow. I won't just buy cloth for myself, I'll also buy them for you, my first uncle and my first aunt. After all, I'm rich now. Yun Xiaotian felt comforted, and the more he looked at Yun Chujio, the more he found her pleasing to the eye. He felt that his hard work had finally paid off after all these years, and he could finally stop letting his youngest son as well as his youngest daughter-in-law down. As the granddaughter pair chatted happily, thunder rumbled outside, and raindrops the size of beans started to fall from the sky. Chapter 37. Getting struck by lightning. Oh, it's raining. Grandpa, I have to go back to my place now. Otherwise, when the rain gets heavier, I can't go back. Yun Chujio looked outside and said, Go back with an umbrella. Be careful on your way, don't slip. Yun Xiaotian took out an oil paper umbrella and handed it to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio took the oil paper umbrella and went out of the study room with a smile. The gremlin was currently in a very good mood. I had a good harvest today. I earned 500,000 taels of silver in just one day, and there are also a few hundred taels of silver in Bai Moyu and Bai Morris money pouches as well. Moreover, she had also cleared her name completely. The skeptical Bai Peng would not dare eat the soul-gathering pill that Bai Moyu got from her as well. What a beautiful day. While the girl still had her head in the clouds, a purple lightning bolt in the sky came crackling in her direction. Yun Chujio was so terrified that she cursed. She threw away her umbrella and hopped away frantically like a rabbit. However, it seemed that the lightning bolt was able to see her. Even though Yun Chujio ran everywhere, the lightning bolt continued to chase after her. One Yun Chujio was about to cry. What the heck? Has anyone ever seen a lightning bolt that can sweep corners? You're just intent on hitting me, aren't you? Is it because I've been running my mouth today, and I said something so horrible that karma's decided to strike me with lightning? I haven't done anything wrong, why do you want to hit me? If you're so skilled in chasing after people, you can go and hit that scumbag, Bai instead. Fuck, you little loach, go away. If you hit me, Independent Illinois bite you. Yun Chujio was driven to a corner because of the purple lightning bolt, hence, she started to curse up a storm. Despite that, it was useless. The lightning bolt still hit Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio felt numb from head to toe, and like a heroine in a tragic drama, she fainted. However, she only remained unconscious for a few breaths before she woke up. She then scrambled to her feet and dashed all the way back to her place. Milady, why didn't you carry an umbrella? Why is there mud on your clothes? Milady, did you fall? Did you get hurt? When Chun Yu saw that Yun Chujio had returned, she quickly went up to serve her. Yun Chujio waved her hand. The first thing she did was not to see whether she was injured or not but to take out the money pouches hidden in her clothes. She broke into a smile. The money pouches were not wet at all. She did not expect the pretty boy's clothes to be so good that they were actually waterproof. Indeed. Yun Chujio had been wearing Di Biming's clothes underneath her robe because Yun Chujio was afraid of death, and she knew that his clothes were definitely valuable. Hence, she had been speculating that they would be able to save her life during a critical moment. Yun Chujio took out a large stack of silver notes from the money pouches. "Chun Yu, keep this money for me." Chun Yu was stunned for a while, but a moment later, she was so touched that she was almost in tears. In the past, the lady was so wary of her that she behaved as if Chun Yu was a thief and never allowed her to manage her money. She never imagined that the lady would now allow her to protect so many silver notes. After taking a hot bath, Yun Chujio began to practice cultivation. Yun Chujio sat cross-legged on her bed and mumbled, "Although I'm only absorbing a few tiny purple light balls every day, if I accumulate them little by little, they will gradually become a lot." Yun Chujio suddenly stopped talking. "Why are there suddenly so many purple light balls in my body? Wow, this amount is equivalent to half a year's worth of cultivation, right?" Yun Chujio was stunned for a moment before she slapped her thigh. "Yes, that must be the case. These tiny purple light balls are definitely related to the lightning bolt. I was struck by lightning just now, so that's why there are so many purple balls of light in my body. Are they related to lightning? Could this be the lightning element? But I've never heard anyone mention that there is a lightning element aside from the 5 elements. I'm not going to care anymore. Since it exists, there has to be a reasonable explanation. Maybe my lightning element is stronger than other elements. If anyone bullies me, I will send the person a lightning bolt and kill him or her. It feels amazing just thinking about it." The more she thought about it, the happier she became, but in the end, she thought of a big problem. Although this lightning element looks very powerful, it usually comes to me at a pitiful amount. If I cultivate it step by step through conventional means, who knows how many years it will take before I can become someone powerful? Yun Chujio had a bitter look as she rested her chin on her palms, and she began to sigh. All of a sudden, her eyes lit up. She jumped up from her bed, pushed open her door, and rushed into her courtyard. Chapter 38. Human Lightning Rod. It was Chun Ye's turn for watch duty outside Yun Chujio's house that night, and she was startled when she saw Yun Chujio. "And milady, what are you doing? It's raining outside. Just stay in the house obediently. Leave me alone, I am cultivating." Chun Yu looked baffled. "Cultivating? There's a thunderstorm outside, and you're going out to cultivate? Are you kidding me?" "One milady." Chun Yu did not feel at ease and was prepared to dissuade her. "Chun Yu, if you continue dilly-dallying, I will go to Grandpa tomorrow and have him assign me another maid." Yun Chujio was in a hurry to verify her hypothesis outside, and she had no time to spend giving any sort of explanation to her maid. Hence, she could only use her trump card. Just as she had expected, Chun Yu pursed her lips as if she had been wronged, and she said nothing else. Yun Chujio stood in the middle of the courtyard and waited to be struck by lightning with an eager look on her face. Rumble. After a few rumbles, silver lightning crackled in the sky, but it did not hit Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio frowned and waited for a little while longer. Then, another lightning bolt came down, but it still did not hit Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio blinked, let out a few fake coughs, and started to recite a poem she had already made in her heart with great emotion. There's a hopeless idiot in this vast land. May the storm rage more violently. May lightning strike me. Chun Yu was in the room when she saw this, and she was so terrified that she was completely dumbfounded. "I'm done, my life is over. The lady must have lost her mind. I was wondering why she was behaving so abnormally. It's because she's gone completely bonkers." No one knew whether Yun Chujio's poem was really effective or whether there was some other reason, but a purple lightning bolt truly appeared and struck Yun Chujio after it took a few turns in the sky. With great satisfaction, Yun Chujio fainted from the blast. Chun Yu was just about to rush out of the room when she saw Yun Chujio jump up and giggle happily. "Hooray! My guess was right. To my dear little thunder, hurry up and come to me. I will treat you gently. Little spark, little lightning, little thunder, hurry up and come to me." Unfortunately for Yun Chujio, no matter what kind of purple prose spilled out from her lips, No lightning struck Yun Chujio again, although lightning flashed in the sky and thunder rumbled. Yun Chujio was angry. Well, I refuse to believe it. I'll definitely find a way for you to hit me. Yun Chujio ran into the house, and Chunyu finally breathed a sigh of relief. It looks like the lady is back to normal now. However, she did not expect Yun Chujio to pick up a copper basin specifically used to wash her face, put it over her head, and rush out again. Yun Chujio climbed up a tree in the courtyard, tied herself to the tree with her belt, and waved the copper basin in her hands with gusto. For Yun Chujio was feeling smug. Ha, loser, I'm now a human lightning rod, let's see whether you'll hit me now. Just as she had anticipated, a silver lightning bolt charged toward her. Yun Chujio was struck, and she fainted as per her wish, but because of the belt, she did not fall to the ground. In just the span of a few breaths, Yun Chujio woke up and was incredibly pleased with herself. Ha! I'm so smart. The power of thunder and lightning came so easily to me. In minutes, I'll definitely be able to cultivate an ultimate skill. Ha! The opportunity for me to dominate the land is here. 3 and Feng, who was hiding in a dark place, was dumbfounded. This dark-skinned girl is too good at causing trouble. I won't say anything about the chaos she stirred during the day, but why is she coming out at night to get hit by lightning instead of sleeping? Is something wrong with her head? 5. Do I need to tell the Supreme Lord about this? Why would such a lunatic need my protection? 1. However, the dark-skinned girl was quite resistant to thunder. After being struck by lightning, she was able to recover after just a few breaths. Suddenly, the dreary sky seemingly split open, and a bolt of purple thunder with a breadth as thick as the rim of a bowl came charging downward. Chapter 39. She actually had the guts to go and die. When Feng registered what happened, it was too late. The purple celestial lightning in the sky struck Yun Chujio directly while she was busy feeling smug about herself. The remaining force from the celestial lightning reduced the big tree, where Yun Chujio was tied to, into charcoal, and a huge pit appeared on the ground. Chunyu was so scared that she fainted straight away when she saw this. Feng's heart let out a loud thump against his chest. It's over. The lightning must have reduced the dark-skinned girl to pieces by now. Even spirit emperors would find it difficult to resist celestial lightning bolts with such great power. Besides, the dark-skinned girl doesn't have any spiritual energy at all. After waiting for a long time, Feng saw no movement from the pit. His hands trembled, and he took out a voice transmission talisman. Supreme Lord, the dark-skinned girl has been struck dead by lightning. 3 and Feng felt a little sad. Although the dark-skinned girl's crazy, she's still very interesting. But what was the Supreme Lord thinking? If he really does fancy this dark-skinned girl, won't he be really sad? Well, he had been neglectful of his duties. He should have tried to scare her off the tree the moment she climbed up. Since it had already happened, he would just wait for the Supreme Lord to punish him. While Feng was busy blaming himself, Chunyu, who was at the door, snapped out of her daze. She ran to the side of the pit as she cried, "Milady! No, milady! You died so miserably." Wheeze. A few coughs came from the deep pit. A pair of dark hands grabbed the edge of the pit, and someone climbed out. "Don't cry. I'm not dead yet. It won't be that easy to get rid of me." A black charcoal head popped out of the pit. Chunyu was so terrified that she collapsed on the ground. "A ghost." The black charcoal head bared her teeth, showing 2 rows of white chompers. "What ghost?" "It's me, your mistress." "Milady? Ah, it's really you. I'm so glad you're not dead, milady." Sob. Chunyu wept with joy. The moment Yun Chujio was struck by the purple lightning, she really thought she was about to die. However, after Yun Chujio was struck, she woke up very quickly. Despite that, her body refused to listen to her, and she could only fall into the pit. The mighty force of the lightning bolt surged through Yun Chujio's body, and she felt as if her body was about to explode. Right when Yun Chujio thought she was going to croak, the power of the lightning in her body mysteriously disappeared, as though it had been devoured by something. "Lady, your hair." While Yun Chujio was in a daze, Chunyu screamed in shock. Yun Chujio touched her head. What the heck? Oh my gosh, I'm bald. 7 Yun Chujio lowered her head. Her robes were also burnt to a crisp, but luckily, the effectiveness of the pretty boy's clothes was really awesome, and they were completely unharmed. They were, in fact, the sole reason why she was not committing an act of public indecency right then. At that moment, Yun Chujio did not care what kind of energy she had absorbed from the lightning earlier. She just dashed straight into her room. Yun Chujio took a look at the bronze mirror, and she started to fume. I was already dark enough before, and now, I'm even darker. I don't even have hair now. I've become even darker and bald now. I look so ugly. Gah. My eyebrows are gone too. 5 Ayaha. Yun Chujio's furious shouts were heard continuously from within the house. Fortunately, the storm was raging outside, and no one noticed just how abnormal the situation was in Yun Chujio's room. And Feng, who was hiding in the corner, started pacing around. It's over. It's all over. This is truly it for me. And Feng smacked himself. Why did you act so quickly? Why didn't you check whether the dark-skinned girl was really dead before you sent the voice transmission talisman? Now look, the dark-skinned girl is still alive. There was a limit to how many voice transmission talismans a person could send between 2 continents. He could no longer use a voice transmission talisman for another 3 days. If the Supreme Lord really thought that the dark-skinned girl was dead, he would be sad for nothing. If he knew that the dark-skinned girl was still alive, he would not spare Feng for providing him with false information. Feng felt a chill run down his spine, and he found that his future was bleak. At the same time, a certain Supreme Lord was holding a voice transmission talisman in his hand with an angry look on his face. The dark thing is dead? The first thought this certain Supreme Lord had was not that he could no longer get rid of the cold poison in his body. Instead, it was, how could the dark-skinned thing die? Even I was reluctant to kill her, yet she had the guts to go and die? The audacity! Chapter 40. Your whole family is a laughing-stock. The more Biming thought about it, the angrier he was. He smashed the table in front of him. Come with me to the Qingxian continent. Yes, Supreme Lord. And Feng were complete opposites. Feng was extroverted, while had a poker face and seldom showed any expression. However, he was curious. Why would the Supreme Lord want to suddenly go to the Qingxian continent when it was dark outside? Did they not just come back from that place? Even so, he remained expressionless. Yun Chujio did not know that her Prince Charming was coming. After she took a bath, she began to allow her mind to wander while she cupped her face in her hands. Yun Chujio thought about how she was struck by the lightning bolt in detail. It seemed that the purple lightning would take the initiative to hit her, while normal silver lightning bolts would only hit her if she attracted them to her using metal. Why is that so? She usually absorbed purple light balls, but she had never absorbed silver light balls. So, was the silver lightning useful to her at all? Yun Chujio sat down cross-legged and used her inner vision to examine her Dantian region. Yun Chujio was stunned when she saw what had happened to her Dantian region. The purple light balls in her Dantian region were happily swallowing the silver light balls. What the heck? What's going on? They operate by the law of the jungle too? Yun Chujio's spiritual energy was limited, so she could only observe it a little before she felt dizzy. She immediately stopped using her inner vision. Right after Yun Chujio's divine sense left her Dantian region, a black and bright seed happily shot out of the purple light balls. There was already a crack on the seed, and it looked as if it was about to begin germinating at any moment. However, Yun Chujio knew nothing about this. She was currently touching her very smooth, bald head. Bugger! How am I supposed to meet anyone like this? My eyebrows are not a big deal. I can just draw some with a charcoal stick, but what about my hair? Am I supposed to wear a hat all day now? In spite of this, Yun Chujio was the carefree type. After thinking about it for a while, she found that she could not make heads or tails of it, so she decided to just turn over and sleep. Before she fell asleep, she laughed at herself. Well, there are still benefits to having no hair. At least after taking a bath, I can go to bed without waiting for it to dry. The next morning, while Yun Chujio was still in dreamland, goosebumps broke all over her skin. Something was wrong. Danger was afoot. In the past, Yun Chujio was able to avoid countless dangers because she relied on this kind of intuition. But before she was able to do anything, her poor door was destroyed again. Tu Chunyu screamed in fear, and immediately after, Chu Yunjio heard nothing else from her. Yun Chujio quickly scanned the room, but there was not a single sharp weapon that she could use for self-defense. She gnashed her teeth and could only pick up her pillow. At the very least, she could use it as a hidden weapon during critical moments. Her bedroom door was swiftly shattered to pieces, and Yun Chujio realized that she was finding the scene more familiar with each passing moment. Before she could respond, a man in white came in. What in the world? It's the pretty boy. It really is the pretty boy. Does he have some kind of grudge against my bedroom door? The sun shone through the broken door, and it was as if it had decided to have its morning rays serve as decoration on Di Baiming's skin. Yun Chujio was dazed for a moment by the sight. The pretty boy was really beautiful. Darn it, he even came in with his own halo. He seriously knew how to look cool. Di Baiming was also a bit flabbergasted. Did Enfeng not say that the dark-skinned girl was dead? So what was this thing in front of him? After being dumbfounded for a moment, Di Baiming could not help but laugh and point at Yun Chujio. Ha! Your hair and eyebrows are so funny. For Yun Chujio cursed in her heart, why the heck are you laughing? You're the laughing stock here. Your whole family is a laughing stock. Why is the pretty boy here? Is he here to suck some of my blood again? Didn't he just finish sucking my blood the day before yesterday? You were ugly before this, but you're even uglier now. Ha! You don't need to light a candle at night, you can just use your head to light up the area. Di Baiming was usually aloof, but for some reason, when he met up with Yun Chujio, he was just incredibly tempted to tease her. As expected, Yun Chujio flew into a rage, and the pillow in her hands went charging at Di Baiming. Chapter 41. Do you really adore me? Right after Yun Chujio threw the pillow in her hands, she regained her rationality. Come now. Why am I so impulsive? That pretty boy is not someone to be trifled with. Isn't this the same as me signing my own death warrant? Yun Chujio raised her head, and just as she expected, she saw Di Baiming looking at her with a dark face. As for the pillow, well, it had already been reduced to dust. Hey dark-skinned thing, do you want to die? Di Baiming took a few steps forward while he glared at Yun Chujio with a cold gleam in his eyes. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. Doesn't this pretty boy turn hostile a little too quickly? He's so temperamental, he's basically schizophrenic. He was giggling over there like an idiot one moment ago, and he's pretending to be arrogant and aloof now. Since this pretty boy is so temperamental, he would really kill me, right? Damn it, this is a murder case caused by a pillow. Di Baiming took a few steps forward again, and Yun Chujio felt the shadow of death covering her. What should I do? How should I deal with this? Yun Chujio's small face suddenly showed an expression of surprise and delight. Prince Charming? It's really you, Prince Charming. This is great. I thought I was dreaming just now. Prince Charming, I'm so fortunate to be able to see you again. I have to thank my ancestors now. Di Baiming's facial expression became softer. He frowned. Since you're so excited to see me, why did you throw the pillow at me? Yun Chujio's mind whirred as she tried her hardest to think of an excuse. Two-faced woman. Since you want to die so much, it'll help you. Di Baiming felt incredibly angry as he recalled the letter Enfeng previously gave him. Yun Chujio jumped down from the bed immediately, threw herself into Di Baiming's arms and held his waist. Prince Charming, actually, when I saw you coming so early in the morning, I knew that you must not have slept well, so I wanted to give you a pillow and let you have a good sleep. But I was a little embarrassed, so I ended up throwing the pillow at you. For a moment, Di Baiming said nothing and did nothing. Yun Chujio's little heart raced. What's the meaning behind this? If he's not taking any action, I'm not either. If the pretty boy wants to kill me, he'll have no choice but to fight. His fatal acupuncture point is right in front of my eyes. At that time, It'll be a life and death struggle. At the moment Di Biming was hugged by Yun Chujio, his mind went completely blank, as if an explosion went off in his head. What kind of feeling was that, you ask? Well, it was as if there were thousands of fireworks exploding in his mind at that moment. He had not expected this dark-skinned, shabby-looking thing to have such a soft and fragrant body. Not only did he not find her embrace repulsive, he even felt a little restless. At that moment, both Di Biming and Yun Chujio thought about different things while holding each other quietly, and during that moment, someone came staggering in. Supreme Lord! Supreme Lord! Listen to me, the dark-skinned thing did not die, she did not. When Infeng saw what was happening in the room, he felt as if he had just taken a big step forward towards suicide. Supreme Lord, I did not see anything. I did not see you and dark-skinned thing hugging each other. Begone! Di Biming flung his sleeve, and the poor Infeng was sent flying out like a kite. Di Biming took the chance to push Yun Chujio away. Dark-skinned thing, who gave you the permission to hug me? Do you want to die? Yun Chujio rolled her eyes in her heart. Can't you use something else aside from this? So uncivilized. While the girl continued making sarcastic quips in her heart, she put on an abashed expression. Prince Charming, I just can't help myself. If you think I have sullied your precious body, you can just smack me to death. Di Biming cast a glance at Yun Chujio. Do you really adore me? Yun Chujio nodded as hard as a little chick pecking at grain. Yes, of course. It's absolutely true. You're my Prince Charming. You're the sunshine in my heart. You're the source of my life. Chapter 42. High and mighty pretender. After Di Biming listened to Yun Chujio, he was most pleased. His lips curled up slightly and he hummed softly. Yun Chujio cursed him secretly. Hum. Hum my foot. You're just pretending to be high and mighty. Would you die if you talked more? Just what does the pretty boy mean by this? Is he intending to let me go? Di Biming took one step forward, and Yun Chujio was so nervous that it felt as if her little heart was going to jump straight out of her body. What does the pretty boy want? What does he want to do? Does he want to smack me to death? I already gave up my pride, and the pretty boy still wants to continue bothering me? Does he think I'm an easy target or what? Yun Chujio clenched her fists tightly while they remained hidden in her sleeves. As soon as Di Biming made any move, she was prepared to die fighting. Little did she expect Di Biming to walk and keep walking past Yun Chujio. Instead, he went straight to her bed. Dark-skinned thing, bring me a pillow. Di Biming took off his boots and coat, and he laid down on the bed. What? Yun Chujio stood like a silly mushroom. She could not figure out what Di Biming meant for a moment. Di Biming frowned. Didn't you say that I should have a good sleep? How can I sleep without a pillow? Or were they all lies? Oh, Prince Charming, my bedding is kept by my maid, so I have trouble recalling where my pillows are kept. Yun Chujio was becoming more fluent in telling lies, and she wanted to take this opportunity to know whether her silly maid was still alive or dead. You're so stupid. This room has only 2 cabinets, you just need to check them. Truly, you're so idiotic that your head must be empty. Di Biming put his hands behind his head while he mocked her in a relaxed manner. Yun Chujio felt so mad that she was about to die of anger because of this lunatic. This is my house. That is my bed. Who the heck are you calling stupid? You're the stupid one. You're stupid from head to toe, and even your hair is stupid. Yun Chujio scolded him from head to toe in her heart before she showed a flattering smile. Prince Charming, not only are you so good-looking that nobody can beat you in terms of looks, you have remarkable foresight as well. Truly, I feel ashamed before you. Di Biming felt that the dark-skinned thing was really good at words. Although he always heard people flattering him, their words were too pretentious, unlike this dark-skinned little thing in front of him. He could tell she really adored him. This dark-skinned thing was quite good. Yun Chujio found a pillow from her cabinet and went to stand in front of her bed in a servile manner. Prince Charming, raise the pillow. Di Biming glanced at Yun Chujio before he pursed his lips. You look really ugly. Pretty boy, aren't you being really mean? Just you wait. A girl takes her sweet time for revenge. I will make you kneel down and submit to me one of these days. One Yunchujio took 2 deep breaths, and it was only then that she was able to suppress the raging storm in her heart. Yunchujio spoke Beiming in an obsequious manner. Prince Charming, please rest well. I will serve as your guard outside the door, and I promise you, I won't let even a single ant enter. Beiming hummed in satisfaction. Then he actually closed his eyes and fell asleep. Yunchujio turned around and cursed him silently. Pretty boy, you bastard. Just sleep. It'd be good if you just continue sleeping until you die. When Yunchujio walked out of the room, she saw Chunyu laying on the floor, completely still. She could not help but feel her heart sink. Has Chunyu been killed by the pretty boy? Yunchujio walked close to see if Chunyu was still breathing, and when she discovered that she was breathing in a very stable manner, she felt her heart relaxing. By the looks of it, she just fainted out of fear. Yunchu thought for a while. Chunyu is timid. If she wakes up and causes a ruckus, I'll be bad if she ends up angering the pretty boy. Therefore, Yunchujio tapped Chun-Ye's acupuncture points to make her sleep while she moved her to the couch outside the house. After that, Yunchujio went outside the house and took a look at the deep pit in the courtyard. She then turned around, looked at the broken doors of the room, touched her own bald head, and thought about the pretty boy laying on her bed. She suddenly felt that her life was damn exciting. 3. Chapter 43. Your Supreme Lord is sleeping. Yunchujio was gazing up at the sky. Her neck was craned at a beautiful 45-degree angle, a gloomy look on her face. Round the corner, someone snickered. Yunchujio spun around. The source of snickering was the very person the pretty boy had sent flying. Feng had been tremendously anxious. He had been worried that Beiming would punish him. That anxiety vanished when he saw the funny look on Yunchujio's face. He could not help but laugh. Even the usually expressionless Yin could not fight off the twitching of his mouth. Yunchujio scolded them in her heart. Birds of a feather really flock together. The pretty boy's subordinates are no better than him. What are you laughing at? Have you never seen a bald person? Or have you never seen such a beautiful bald head? Yunchujio glared at Feng fiercely. Feng had grown used to Yunchujio's erratic personality over the past few days, so he was not bothered. He asked curiously, Dark, ninth young mistress, where is our Supreme Lord? Feng had swallowed the words dark-skinned lass that were already at the tip of his tongue. His Supreme Lord had already embraced the dark-skinned lass, so it was possible that this dark-skinned lass would jump up the social ladder overnight. It was better for him to not offend her. He's sleeping. Both of you, don't linger around doing nothing either. Hurry up and fill up the deep pit for me. Yunchujio put a hand behind her back and pointed at the deep pit in front with the other. After Yunchujio finished talking, Feng and Yin both looked dumbfounded. She thought, did I fail in pretending to be high and mighty, so I wasn't able to give orders to these two? What she did not know was that Feng and Yin were practically experiencing a baptism of their world views, moral views, and views in life. The Supreme Lord is sleeping in a lattice bed? Oh my goodness! This is breaking news. The Supreme Lord is the most nitpicky man in the Tianyuan continent. He's also the one who puts on airs the most. Forget about sleeping on a lattice bed. He's someone who'll throw away his belongings if a lady touched it. There are even rumors saying that the Supreme Lord either has problems with his private parts, or he is gay. Feng's gaze on Yunchujio became even more respectful. The Supreme Lord must have fallen for this dark-skinned lass. I saw them hugging each other tightly. And when the Supreme Lord heard that this dark-skinned lass died, he rushed over overnight. What did this mean? This says that the Supreme Lord cares about this dark-skinned lass very much. Perhaps soon, this dark-skinned lass will become a concubine for the Supreme Lord. Although her spiritual energy is too low and she can't be brought back to Tianyuan continent, the Supreme Lord can come over here, and we can also grab that chance to follow him along and come for a stroll. If the palace master and his wife know about this, they would be pleased. As Feng thought about this, he went off to fill up the deep pit in a servile manner. Yunchujio blinked. Did I say something incredible? Why are these two guards behaving so respectfully toward me? Yun Chujio was not worried about others learning of the ruckus over here. Individuals like the pretty boy definitely had divine arts that could allow them to insulate sounds. Filling up the deep pit was a difficult task for Yun Chujio, but it was just a piece of cake for Enfeng, who had high spiritual energy. After just a while, he moved all the soil around the pit back to where they belonged. Yun Chujio looked at the sun and touched her belly. It was time for breakfast. She had to go to the main kitchen. Firstly, she wanted to eat her breakfast. Secondly, she would not cause any suspicion just because no one went over to get her breakfast. If her newfound grandfather found out that she hid a man in the house, he might become so angry that he will faint. Besides, this pretty boy was temperamental. It would be bad if he injured the people in the Yun family. Yun Chujio picked up a branch struck by lightning last night from the floor, walked into the house, and started to draw her eyebrows in front of a mirror. As a Secret Service agent in her previous life, putting on a disguise was something normal for her, so drawing eyebrows on her face was just a piece of cake for Yun Chujio. Soon, Yun Chujio had drawn a pair of eyebrows that looked exactly like her original eyebrows. She then removed the bamboo hat hanging on the wall, put it on her head, and walked out of the house. Chapter 44. Sooner or later, you'll belong to the Supreme Lord. I'll go collect breakfast. Both of you make sure you guard the house well. Yun Chujio was highly skilled in making a fuss out of a casual remark. Once she became aware of the change in attitude within the two guards toward her, Yun Chujio put on a really good act of acting as their superior. Just, ninth young mistress, remember to bring our share too. Enfeng said in an apple-polishing tone. Yun Chujio agreed to his request and strode out the courtyard. Along the way, the people who met the ninth young mistress were puzzled as to why she put on a bamboo hat over her head. Yet, no one dared to ask, and they saw no strange behavior from her either. When Yun Chujio reached the main kitchen, she ordered the servants to pack 2 full boxes of food. Yun Chujio carried the food boxes and went back to her courtyard. Then she called Enfeng and an Een over for breakfast. After breakfast, Yun Chujio put on an act of leaning against the rattan chair in a relaxed manner so that she could start digging for information. How should I call both of you? This humble servant is Enfeng. This humble servant is an Een. When Yun Chujio heard how these two people referred to themselves, she thought to herself, "You're the pretty boy's servants, why are you referring to yourselves as humble servants in front of me?" Yun Chujio went ahead and said, "Oh, come now, I don't deserve this. Both of you are masters in cultivation. How could you call yourselves servants in front of a loser who cannot practice cultivation?" Enfeng tried to please her by saying, "Ninth young mistress, sooner or later, you'll belong to the Supreme Lord. You're our mistress and we're your servants. So, it's only proper to address ourselves as servants in front of you." Yun Chujio was so shocked that she fell on her butt. Once she scrambled to her feet, she chuckled dryly, "It's too early to say those things. The Supreme Lord has very high standards, and people like me might not even get noticed by him." Enfeng suddenly raised his tone. "Ninth young mistress, please don't look down on yourself. I can tell that the Supreme Lord is absolutely, completely, certainly, utterly satisfied with you. Or else, how could our Supreme Lord hug you when he's usually a clean freak, much less sleep on your bed?" Yun Chujio just continued chuckling dryly without saying anything. "That's a cosmic joke if I ever heard one. That pretty boy is just raring to kill me, and if it weren't for me shamelessly flattering him, I think I might have lost my life. Fancying me? He thinks I'm stupid, huh?" But Yun Chujio was happy that these two guards had a misunderstanding. She switched the topic of conversation. "Enfeng, just now, you told your Supreme Lord that I'm not dead yet. What's that all about?" Enfeng blinked. He was not as stupid as to tell the truth. So he grinned and said, "Our Supreme Lord suddenly felt a pain in his heart yesterday night, and he thought something happened to you, so we rushed over that same night. I noticed there was nothing abnormal in the residence and went to inform the Supreme Lord. But, I didn't expect that I'd get chased out by the Supreme Lord." Yun Chujio naturally did not believe in the nonsense Enfeng just spouted away, But she had not expected Di Biming to send someone to protect her in secret, so she did not continue demanding answers. And Feng sighed in relief in his mind. It's not easy to trick this dark-skinned lass. I need to be more careful later on. Ninth young mistress, what's wrong with your hair and eyebrows? And Feng pretended like he knew nothing. I accidentally got struck by lightning. Yun Chujio just whipped out a half-truth. And Feng was cackling in amusement in his heart. Accidentally? Aren't you the one who went out of her way to attract lightning? But why did you go and attract lightning, anyway? Ninth young mistress, our Supreme Lord can get a hair growth pill for you. After dissolving it in water, wipe it on your head, and it can speed up hair growth. Once our Supreme Lord is awake, you can ask it from him. And Feng then thought, Supreme Lord, this is all I can help you with. I hope you can reduce my punishment because of this. Just as he expected, happiness bloomed on Yun Chujie's face. Is that true? If I use this hair growth pill, how long will it take before my hair grows? Although it can't help you recover it to the point that it used to be, it can still help you gain an inch per day. Yun Chujio nodded. It's fine even if it's just an inch per day. It's better than being bald. Yun Chujio made up her mind. No matter what, she would absolutely get the hair growth pill from the pretty boy later on. 2 hours later, Di Biming's voice traveled out lackadaisically from the room. Dark-skinned thing, I'm hungry. Chapter 45. Please help me, Prince Charming. Yun Chujio gnashed her teeth in secret. Excuse you. What does being hungry have anything to do with me? Am I your mom or dad? But while Yun Chujio thought gloomily in her heart, she said, Prince Charming, your breakfast is still warm, I'll bring it to you now. Yun Chujio felt that she would definitely go crazy if she continued acting like this. Yun Chujio carried a food box and went into the room in a servile manner. Luckily, the 3 people outside had only eaten the food in one food box in the morning, and as it happened, she could just give this food box to Di Biming. Di Biming was leaning against the bedside lackadaisically, and he smiled a little when he saw Yun Chujio striding inside. Prince Charming, you're awake now? Why do you look even more charming after your sleep? Yun Chujio put on a fawning look. Di Biming had enjoyed Yun Chujio's great confession and hummed faintly. He moved in front of the table and ate his breakfast slowly. Yun Chujio put her hands under her chin and kept looking at Di Biming without blinking. Darn it! How could this pretty boy be so good-looking? It's so unreasonable. I really wish I can draw a small tortoise on his face. Let's see whether hell still looks so pretty even after that. As Yun Chujio continued thinking, an enigmatic smile showed up on her face. Di Biming naturally noticed Yun Chujio's passionate gaze and felt proud. This dark-skinned thing must be deeply in love with me, or else she would not look so infatuated even when she looks at me eat. After Di Biming ate his meal, he coughed, and Yun Chujio snapped out of her sweet dream. Prince Charming, you finished eating? Yes. Prince Charming, let me give you a massage. Yun Chujio quickly tried to curry favor with Di Beijing when she remembered the hair growth pill and Feng mentioned. Di Biming was stunned. He was still not used to having someone be so near to him. But he was not that averse to Yun Chujio's presence, and as if he were granting a special favor to Yun Chujio, he said, all right. Since you're so sincere, I'll allow you to do it. Yun Chujio felt like strangling this pretty boy who just loved to pretend to be cool. But unfortunately for her, she could only think about it. Yun Chujio ran behind Di Biming in a servile manner and started to seriously massage Di Biming's shoulders. In the beginning, Di Biming's body was quite taut. But no one knew whether it was because Yun Chujio's skills were really good or whether it was for some other reason, but Di Biming slowly relaxed, and he felt that the sensation of being massaged was actually pretty good. Even the dazzling sunlight shining from outside became pleasing to the eyes. Prince Charming, could you help me out a little? Yun Chujio finally let the cat out of the bag. Speak, said Di Biming faintly with his eyes closed. What? Isn't my hair all gone? I'm really a little ugly because of it, and I know that you have a lot of methods up your sleeves, so could you help me get some pills that will promote hair growth? How did you lose your hair? Di Biming did not agree nor disagree. Yun Chujio blinked, thought about things for a while, and decided to tell the truth. I mean, I'm useless when it comes to cultivation, right? But after being struck by lightning yesterday, I found out that I can absorb the power of lightning. So, I climbed up to the tree and wanted to absorb more. But I didn't expect myself to overdo it, so I ended up like this. Di Baiming's expression changed. What? Absorbing the power of lightning? Di Baiming thought about this for a moment. Then, an expression of realization appeared on his face. It's no wonder why I wasn't able to help clear the dark-skinned thing's blocked meridian system last time. So, she has the rare lightning spirit root. Yun Chujio was a bit worried when she saw Di Baiming not speaking for a while. Prince Charming, is something wrong? Di Baiming had a thought appear in his head, and he solemnly said, yes. The cultivation of lightning spirit roots is different from the cultivation of other spirit roots. If no one guides you, it'll be very easy for you to go through chi deviation. Chapter 46. So, you're the culprit. Yun Chujio was someone who treasured her life greatly. When she heard Di Baiming say those words, she immediately shouted in surprise and fear. Is there such a saying? Who should I find to guide me? The people in Yi City don't even know about lightning spirit roots. Only the main 4 sects in the Qingxian continent have cultivation techniques for lightning spiritual roots. But it's not easy to become one of their disciples, especially for someone stupid like you, Di Baiming said scornfully. Yun Chujio was so angry that she glared at him, and she used more strength in her hands. Yes, not bad. This is just nice. You used too little strength just now. Di Baiming said in satisfaction. Yun Chujio was so mad that she twitched, and she had a strong urge to kick Di Baiming. However, she put up with it in order to protect her own life. In truth, I can guide you a little, but I'm busy. Yun Chujio was a smart girl, and she immediately guessed what Di Baiming was trying to say. Prince Charming, I just know that you're capable of doing anything you want. I might be a little slow in the head, but I'm hardworking. Like they say, hard work can compensate for a lack of natural talent. If you can guide me, I'm willing to serve you faithfully. When Yun Chujio saw that Di Baiming was not talking, she decided to put in more effort and said, Prince Charming, think about it. If you train me well, I can strike down those people whom you hate with lightning. I'll be really cool. Di Baiming continued to remain silent. Prince Charming, once I complete my cultivation, I can bring forth lightning for your entertainment at night, and I'll be way classier than fireworks. Di Baiming felt his lips twitch. This dark-skinned thing sure has a unique thought process. Could it be because of the lightning spirit root? Prince Charming, please just give me a straight answer. If you're not willing to teach me, I will go and beg the main 4 sects until they let me in. Yun Chujio became a little anxious when she saw that Di Baiming was still not willing to express his stance on the matter. Dark-skinned thing, how dare you? Do you actually think that I can't compare to those lousy people? Di Baiming scowled. Pretty boy, you are completely off your rockers. You didn't give me an answer even after I said so many nice words, and now, you're blaming me. Yun Chujio may have been fuming, but she showed surprise and delight on her face. Prince Charming, are you saying that you'll be guiding me? Di Baiming hummed faintly. Continue massaging me. Yun Chujio had to tragically massage him for another hour before Di Baiming contemptuously said, Stop. Your skills are terrible and my entire body feels horrible. Yun Chujio no longer had the strength to make a sarcastic quip. All her complaints were gathered into just one single sentence. Pretty boy, just you wait. Di Baiming's conscience may have felt a little guilty because he finally mentioned the main topic. Tell me how you absorb the lightning element, and I want details. Yun Chujio became excited, and she told him the general gist of her cultivation process. Di Baiming was shocked. While those with lightning spiritual roots could absorb the power of lightning, it was only limited to wandering lightning elements. He had never heard of anyone who could directly absorb lightning into their bodies like the dark-skinned thing. The power of lightning is incredibly wild. If someone absorbs too much of it, the best case would be that their Dantian region is destroyed, and the worst case is that they won't even be able to protect their own lives. Judging from what this dark-skinned thing said, she's absorbed 4 lightning bolts? How is that possible? While Di Baiming was feeling very puzzled, Yun Chujio continued and said, Prince Charming, there is still another interesting situation. I found out that purple celestial lightning bolts chase after me, but the silver ones don't. Why is that? Di Baiming suddenly remembered the moment he got struck by the purple celestial lightning in the monster forest. So, this dark-skinned thing is actually the culprit who caused me to suffer that accident. Yun Chujio suddenly felt her skin crawl, and she noticed Di Baiming looking at her so angrily that it looked like he wanted to rip her to shreds. She was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 47. Your smile is really ugly, dark-skinned thing. You caused me to be struck by celestial lightning. How do you think you should be sentenced? Di Baiming stared at Yun Chujio eerily. Yun Chujio's head worked fast, and she understood the meat of the situation, so she spoke in a slightly shy tone. Prince Charming, this just shows that the heavens have determined that we share a fate together. If it wasn't for the celestial lightning, how would I have gotten to know you, Prince Charming? The celestial lightning is our matchmaker. However, she actually felt that her anger had been vented slightly. Serves you right. Why didn't the lightning kill you? Anyway, this may turn out to be a good method. Next time, if I have a similar chance, I'll hold this pretty boy and let the celestial lightning kill him. Di Baiming had no idea that Yun Chujio was actually vying for his death. He carefully and deliberately thought Yun Chujio's words through, and he felt a strange feeling in his heart. It was as though there were small feathers gently brushing over it. Prince Charming? Prince Charming? Is my situation normal or not? When Yun Chujio saw that Di Baiming was not speaking, she felt incredibly ill at ease. It was only then that Di Baiming's mind returned to the present. Your situation is unheard of. Although a normal lightning spirit root can absorb the power of lightning, it is only limited to absorbing wandering lightning elements. The power of lightning is very wild. If it's absorbed directly, best case scenario, it damages the Dantian region, but worst case scenario, the cultivator does not survive. But I'm still alive and kicking, Yun Chujio said, feeling puzzled. Well, your situation is relatively rare, and the purple celestial lightning usually strikes only when the cultivator is trying to get through a tribulation. Why would it chase after you? It's really strange. Di Baiming furrowed his eyebrows. He did not like such situations, where things were out of his control, and he had a feeling that this dark-skinned thing would soon escape his grasp. Yun Chujio made a sarcastic quip in her mind. Didn't you pretend to be all high and mighty and say that you'd guide me just now? Nonsense. So you don't know what's going on with me either. Di Baiming glanced at Yun Chujio, and he instantly saw the disdain that fleeted in her eyes. Di Baiming became livid. Dark-skinned thing, how dare you look down on me? Do you want to die? Yun Chujio shrank back in fear. What the heck? Does this pretty boy know how to read minds? Prince Charming, I didn't mean that. I was just scoffing at myself. Don't I just look like trash? If even you have never heard of this situation before, then I definitely have no hope in becoming a cultivator. Yun Chujio's words were full of loopholes, but Di Baiming's mind was in disarray at the moment, so he did not think too much into it. He furrowed his eyebrows. Although your situation is a little special, it's only because the source of your spiritual energy is somewhat peculiar. I will have no problems guiding you. Okay. I believe you, Prince Charming. No matter what you say, I believe you. Yun Chujio shamelessly wore an infatuated look, fearing that Di Baiming would further pursue the previous matter. Di Baiming was currently eager to figure out the reason behind Yun Chujio's special physical constitution, so he stood up and walked away. Dark-skinned thing, I will go back and look up some information. I'll return and guide you in a few days' time. Holy cow! He's finally leaving. Hurry up and go away. Yun Chujio forced down the joy in her heart and pretended to look reluctant while she said, Prince Charming, you're leaving so soon? I can't quite bear seeing you leave. Yes. After Di Baiming heard what Yun Chujio said, he felt incredibly pleased. He stopped moving for a brief moment. I will have someone send you the hair growth pill you asked for. Yun Chujio showed a sincere smile on her face this time. Prince Charming. Thank you. You are such a good person. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujio's little face, which lit up when she smiled, and his heart started to race. He scowled and barked, "Your smile is really ugly. Stop smiling at others in the future." 3. Chapter 48. Not any ordinary bald head, really ugly. Really ugly. Yun Chujio was thankful that her hair had all been burned off, or else she would have definitely been so infuriated right then that her hair would probably start burning. This pretty boy's mouth is really foul. After Di Baiming finished speaking, he quickly went away with an feng and an ing. He looked as if he was fleeing after being defeated. Supreme Lord, is there something urgent going on in the palace? And Feng asked curiously. Di Baiming glared at him fiercely. Why are you following me? Shouldn't you go back to protect that dark skin thing? And Feng hunched his shoulders. Supreme Lord, you can rest assured that I will protect the 9th young mistress and guarantee that she will not be hurt at all. And Feng, has your brain been functioning right lately? Do you need to go to 1,000 feet lake to refresh your mind? Di Baiming calmed down and glanced at An Feng coldly. An Feng suddenly became alarmed. After he remembered what Di Baiming told him last time, he quickly said, Supreme Lord, I understand. If the 9th young mistress' life is not threatened, I will not take any action. Di Baiming scoffed coldly. Do not let this happen again. Once An Feng watched Di Baiming leave into the distance, he wiped off his cold sweat and returned to the Yun family. Yun Chujio rested her chin on her hands and started to worry. I can say that the big tree in the courtyard was struck down by lightning, but what am I supposed to say about the door? After thinking for a while, Yun Chujio's eyes lit up, and she had an idea in her head. Yun Chujio unsealed Chun Ye's sleep acupuncture point, and the little girl shouted when she opened her eyes. Milady, are you okay? What happened? I heard a bang and I lost consciousness after that. Ahem. A powerful person came here yesterday. Yun Chujio started to spout nonsense with a serious face. A powerful person? Milady, why did a powerful person come here? Why did he break our door? He didn't do anything to you, did he? Chun Yu looked worried. Not only did that powerful person not hurt me, but he also accepted me as a disciple. I'll be able to become a cultivator in the future. Yun Chujio said excitedly. Chun Yu had a simple personality, and she did not doubt Yun Chujio's words. Really? That's really great. Milady, where is your master? She said happily. Ahem. My master has an unsightly appearance and is unwilling to be seen by others. He left after guiding me a little. He will teach me again another day. Yun Chujio was getting better at lying. An Feng was hiding in the dark, and the corners of his lips unwittingly twitched. This dark-skinned lass is really good at spinning tales. Our Supreme Lord is so handsome that mortals and gods are envious of him. How could she say that he looks unsightly? 9th young mistress, how could you say something like that without feeling guilty? After Yun Chujio ate her lunch, she skipped out of her courtyard wearing a bamboo hat. Grandpa, your granddaughter, young Jio is here to see you. Yun Chujio yelled cheerfully outside Yun Xiaoshan's study. Come in. Yun Xiaoshan's hearty voice came from the room. Yun Chujio leaped into the room and grinned at Yun Xiaotian. Grandpa, I'm here to tell you a piece of great news. Great news? It's not raining outside. Why are you wearing a bamboo hat? Yun Xiaotian asked in puzzlement. Well, Grandpa, what do you think of my new hairstyle? Isn't it shiny? Yun Chujio took off the bamboo hat swiftly. Yun Xiaolan jumped out of his seat in shock. He trembled as he pointed at Yun Chujio. Ridiculous. You're being plain ridiculous right now. Are you going to be a nun? Grandfather, don't be angry. Calm down. Listen to my explanation. My bald head is not any ordinary bald head. This is a symbol of intelligence and wisdom. This is proof that I have become someone amazing in just one move. Yun Chujio said with a grin. Chapter 49. My master is very ugly. Yun Xiaotian was so angry that he panted. Nonsense. This is just a bunch of nonsense. How can a girl be bald? You're just being ridiculous. Yun Chujio bared her teeth. Grandpa, what I said holds more credibility than a black and white document. I can cultivate now. Black and white document? I won't believe you even if it's a gray document, and you said that you can cultiva? What did you say? You can cultivate now? Yun Xiaotian could not believe his ears. Of course it's true. Grandpa, I was struck by lightning in the courtyard yesterday. My hair and eyebrows were burned to crisp. Then in the morning, a powerful person came to me and said that I have the rare lightning spirit root and wanted to be my master, Yun Chujio said while she gestured wildly. Struck by lightning? A powerful person? Lightning spirit root? He wants to be your master? Yun Xiaotian felt that he could not make any sense out of Yun Chujio's words. Yun Chujio nodded, feeling incredibly pleased with herself. Yes, that's right, Grandpa. I will be able to cultivate from now on. I will strike down anyone who dares to bully the Yun family in the future. Yun Xiaotian was still having a hard time trying to believe her. Lightning spirit root? I have never heard about it before. Grandpa, my master said that the lightning spirit root is rare. That is why so many people have not heard of it. Yun Chujio pushed all responsibility onto her fake master. Although Yun Xiaotian still appeared doubtful, he was actually a great deal happier with the situation. Oh, that's good. Regardless of what the spirit root it is, as long as you can cultivate, it'll be good. Young Jio, where's your master? Please invite him over immediately. No, I'll go and thank him myself. Yun Chujio hurriedly waved her hand. No, there's no need for that. My master is someone who keeps a low profile, and he is very ugly. He has a scar on his eye, a bulbous nose, and a toad-like mouth. He doesn't want to meet people and has already left. Yun Chujio was feeling really pleased with herself with all the lies she told. Pretty boy, didn't you say that I was ugly? Now it's my turn. You are so ugly that you can't meet anyone. Young Jio, stop this nonsense. You are not to go back on the teachings of respecting your master. How can you slander your master like that? Yun Xiaotian glared at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio felt wronged. She never dared to scold the pretty boy in front of his face, but when she badmouthed him behind his back, her newfound grandpa decided to nag her. Yun Chujio pursed her lips. Got it, Yun Xiaotian asked for a little more details, but Yun Chujio brushed him off with half-truths. Grandpa, I know that I must be really conspicuous right now, so I'll work hard and practice cultivation in my courtyard over the next few days. Yun Chujio touched her bald head and said with a dry chuckle. Yun Xiaotian thought that Yun Chujio looked a little ugly too, so he nodded and agreed to her request. The grandfather and granddaughter pair chatted for a while. Then, Yun Chujio put on her bamboo hat and skipped out of the house. Yun Chujio met Butler Ji as soon as she walked out of the courtyard. She smiled and said, Butler Ji, I was just looking for you. Can you please make arrangements to fix 2 doors? As luck would have it, my doors were, broken again. Butler Ji was stunned. Again? Hee, just like the last time, they were reduced to bits. Yun Chujio felt that the doors in her residence were really unlucky. Butler Ji looked dumbfounded. Is there really a powerful person who is targeting the Yun family? Butler Ji agreed to her request with a few ambiguous words and slipped into Yun Xiaoshan's study room as quickly as a rabbit. Yun Chujio blinked and shrugged. She then headed back to her courtyard. In the evening, Butler Ji asked someone to install the new doors. Butler Ji was now more respectful toward Yun Chujio. My goodness! The 9th young mistress master has actually managed to destroy the doors to this extent? The 9th young mistress will have a bright future ahead of her. However, Butler Ji wondered why the 9th young mistress master would want to break the door. Did he have some special hobby or something? As for a certain supreme lord who was suspected to have a special hobby, he was currently studying diligently in a library. Chapter 50. 1T egg. There were thick piles of jade slips on the ground, and D. Biming's usual cold expression was full of irritation. Even after he looked through so many jade slips, He could not find anyone with a case that was the same as the dark-skinned thing. It was basically unheard of for anyone to be able to directly absorb the power of lightning. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that the dark-skinned thing possessed an unusual physical constitution. The lightning tribulation was the most feared tribulation among cultivators. Countless powerful people had been defeated by the lightning tribulation, but here was the dark-skinned thing, capable of directly absorbing it. It was so illogical that it was terrifying just hearing about it. Biming did not like the situation. Although he did not understand what kind of mentality he had, he felt extremely awful because the situation was out of his control. He spent the whole night in the library. The first reason was that he wanted to find an explanation for Yun Chujia's special body constitution. The second reason was that he wanted to find a suitable cultivation method for Yun Chujio. The next morning, Biming sighed. His eyes were red, and he was still unable to find anyone with the same situation as the dark-skinned thing. Fortunately, he finally found a slip containing skills that were suitable for the dark-skinned thing. Biming had carefully selected a cultivation technique called Thousand Illusion Lightning. It was suitable for those with lightning spirit roots, and there was no upper limit to the technique, which meant it was a technique that could be upgraded infinitely. Send this 1,000 illusion lightning and bottle of hair growth pills to the dark-skinned thing. Yes, Supreme Lord. As was about to retreat, Biming added, tell that stupid thing that she must not let others know about her ability to directly absorb the power of lightning, or else she'll just end up attracting trouble. Also, get her to train well. If she can't reach the second level of spirit refinement realm after a month, I will show her no mercy. Yes, Supreme Lord. Arrived at Yun Chujia's courtyard in the same evening. Yun Chujio was enjoying her dinner, and Chunyu was startled by when he appeared abruptly. Just as she was about to call for help, Yun Chujio said with a smile, "This is my master's servant." It was only then that Chunyu calmed down, but she still looked at him curiously. "Ninth young mistress, these are the hair growth pills and cultivation technique that the Supreme Lord asked me to deliver to you." Respectfully gave the items to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio took the items with a smile and said in her heart, "At least there is something good about the pretty boy. He's someone who keeps his promises." Ninth young mistress, the Supreme Lord also wants me to tell you that you must not let others know about the fact that you can directly absorb the power of lightning in order to avoid drawing trouble to yourself, said solemnly. Yun Chujio nodded. Well, although the pretty boy is horrible, he still has some saving grace. Ninth young mistress, the Supreme Lord also said that if you are not able to reach the second level of spirit refinement realm after a month, he will show you no mercy. Recited Biming's statement word for word. All the feelings of gratitude that Yun Chujio felt toward Biming earlier instantly faded away. One bastard. It's impossible for me to reach the second level of spirit refinement realm in a month. The pretty boy is just trying to cause me trouble. A thought then bloomed in Yun Chujio's head. She glanced at her table and picked up a tea egg. Chunyu, wrap this tea egg in oil paper. Yun Chujio took the wrapped tea eggs and handed them to take this tea egg to your Supreme Lord and tell him that this is from me. Felt his lips twitch. What does she mean by giving him a tea egg? The ninth young mistress is too stingy. It's the first time I've encountered someone giving tea eggs to my Supreme Lord. Although was continuously making sarcastic quips in his heart, he went back with the tea egg. "Milady, there are so many good things in our house. Why did you give your master only one tea egg?" "Well, tea eggs are easy to carry and they are nutritious. The gift itself may be small, but my expression of goodwill is great," Yun Chujio said while she suppressed her grin. Giving someone a tea egg is equal to asking a person to go away. Of course, it can also be understood as calling a person an idiot or a bastard. Well, no matter what, it feels good to vent. The next morning, saw Biming, and he respectfully handed the tea egg to him. "Supreme Lord, this is a gift from the ninth young mistress." Chapter 51. Act pitiful. Biming felt shocked. Did the dark-skinned thing just give him a present? Biming said coldly, "Put it on the table. Why should I want her silly gift? You may leave now." "Yes, Di Biming cast a sidelong glance at an Een while he left. Only then did he open up the oil paper wrapping on the table in excitement. Perhaps he was too anxious, so it took him quite a while to finally open up the oil paper. Won a tea egg? What does this mean? Why did the dark-skinned thing want to give him a tea egg? Was there any special meaning to it? Di Biming thought for a while, but he could not figure it out. Anyway, the dark-skinned thing must have sent it to please him. He could just ask her the next time they met. Although Di Biming had just taken his breakfast, he still ate the tea egg. How strange. Why have I never thought that tea eggs could be so delicious? 3. Tell the kitchen to add a tea egg for me every morning. Di Biming recalled the tasty flavor of the tea egg and instructed the servant. After an Een heard about this incident, he secretly raised Yun Chujia's status to a higher level. The Supreme Lord must be falling for 9th young mistress deeply. Otherwise, he would not extend his love to the tea egg. Yun Chujio sneezed hard 3 times. 1 sneeze means someone's missing me, 2 sneezes in a row means someone's talking crap about me behind my back, and 3 sneezes in a row means someone's murmuring about me. Who's murmuring about me? It can't be that pretty boy, right? Speaking of which, the pretty boy's hair growth pill is quite effective. Yun Chujio said in satisfaction as she looked at her close-cropped hair in the mirror. Yun Chujio stayed in the residence for a few days. When her hair grew to shoulder length, she could not stay still anymore. She counted the days with her fingers, and today was an off day for the Yun family's cultivation hall. So, it was the perfect time to hang out with Yun Chu. Yun Chujio asked Chunyu to style her hair into a few braids with some small colorful beads on top, then she skipped off to look for Yun Chu. Just as she arrived at the doorstep of Yun Chu's residence, she met Yun Chu. The girl was just about to go out. 5th sister, where are you going? Yun Chujio curiously asked. We are going to the periphery of the monster forest for hunting. We can hunt some wild animals and also get more practical experience. Your hairstyle looks quite unique. Did you cut your hair? Yun Chu was a girl, so she noticed Yun Chujio's new hairstyle at first glance. Yun Chujio twirled proudly. Of course. It's mainly because I'm born pretty, so I look good with every hairstyle. 2 Yun Chu's eyelids twitched a little. Young Jio is becoming more shameless. 5th sister, I want to go with you. I'm bored to death. Yun Chujio linked arms with Yun Chu and did not want to let go. Yun Chu failed to dissuade Yun Chujio, so she could only say, you can go, but no running around. Every corner of the monster forest is dangerous. If you encounter a high-tier monster, you'll be in trouble. Yun Chujio nodded a few times. 5th sister, I promise it'll be good. I just want to go outside and get some fresh air. Yun Chu brought Yun Chujio to the main entrance. The other disciples of the Yun family also came one after another. Only Yun Chuer and Yun Chusher were not there. Yun Chusher was too young, and Yun Chuer had found himself an excuse to go outside and monkey around. Yun Chujio, you're not going with us, right? We're going to the monster forest for training, we are not going to a restaurant. If you get into trouble, nobody will be able to save you. Yun Chuki sneered. The others did not say anything, but they did not agree with bringing Yun Chujio along as well. The piece of trash without spiritual energy would hold them back. Yun Chujio blinked, which soon turned red. I know I don't have spiritual energy. I'm a burden. Since my brothers and sisters are not willing to bring me along, I'm not going. I'm such a piece of trash. Yun Chujio spoke while she shed tears. Her tiny body shivered constantly. How pitiful she looked. Chapter 52. Chubby Rabbit. When Yun Chujio started to act pitiful, the boys found that they were unable to bear the sight. Yun Chusher quickly comforted her. Young Jio, don't cry. Follow me, I'll protect you since I'm your 4th brother. Yes, young Jio. I have my duty as your 6th brother to protect you as well. Just follow us. That's right. It's not like we can't protect you alone with so many of us around. Young Jio, your 8th brother will protect you. Yun Chuba held out his fist and said boisterously. Old 8th, forget it. You might end up being the one who needs protection. You're just at the 2nd level of spirit refinement realm, and you want to be a hero? Yun Chuki said tartly when she saw everyone protecting young Jio. Seventh sister, you just reached the 3rd level of spirit refinement realm. Your achievements aren't a big deal either. Yun Chuba was a hot-blooded young man. When he heard Yun Chuki's trash talk, he immediately fought back tit for tat. Yun Chuyi coughed dryly a few times. All right, stop arguing. We'll bring young Jio along and he'll protect her. Let's go. As the eldest, Yun Chujio still stood as an authoritative figure among the younger members of the Yun family. Hence, all of them got on their horses and brought their guards along to head to the monster-infested forest. Yun Chui picked an obedient filly for Yun Chujio, and she stopped shedding tears immediately. She happily got on the filly, moved next to Yun Chu, and started to chat up a storm with her. There were no visible signs of any sadness on her at all. Everyone suddenly felt like they had been cheated. Young Jio, could you at least be more professional when you're putting up an act? Yun Chuki angrily said to Yun Chushan, third sister, young Jio is becoming worse. She sounds so convincing when she lies. Yun Chushan stared at Yun Chujia's back. Disgust flashed in her eyes, but she softly said, young Jio is still young. Since everyone pampers her so much, she can't avoid being a bit unpredictable. It's all because the head of the household treasures her so much. These people are just trying to curry to her favor. That piece of trash is just marching to her own death by going to the monster forest when she has no spiritual energy whatsoever. Yun Chuki became angrier after she listened to Yun Chushan. Yun Chushan smiled but said nothing. However, she did think about something. It'll be pretty good if an accident happens later. This Yun Chujio is becoming even more difficult to understand than before. And she's getting more annoying. 2 hours later, the people of the Yun family arrived on the outskirts of the monster forest. All of them got down from their horses, took 2 guards with them, and entered the forest. Yun Chujio had fled in a hurry last time, so it was only natural that she did not have time to observe the forest carefully. The monster forest looked slightly similar to the rainforests in her previous life. Other than the tall trees, there were also a lot of vines and shrubs. Young Jio, these coral berries are sweet and sour. Girls love them. Yun Chuba twisted off a twig for Yun Chujio, and red berries covered the entire twig. Thank you, eighth brother. You're so kind. When Yun Chujio heard there was something to eat, her eyes immediately lit up with joy. Once she finished speaking, however, Yun Chujio could not help but feel amused. This poor, unfortunate soul. Why are you ranked 8th in the house? You just had to get the number that means busybody, huh? Yun Chuba looked at Yun Chujia's smiling face and he thought, this young Jio is really cute. Why didn't I notice last time? Having a younger sister like her feels pretty good. Everyone be careful. A monster is coming over. Yun Chuyi quickly warned them. Everyone swiftly hid their bodies and waited for their prey to appear. Yun Chujio was quite excited. I haven't seen a monster before. What does a monster look like? Soon, a gray monster appeared. Yun Chujio focused on it. Oh my, isn't this just a chubby rabbit? Do we need to be so serious with such a weak rabbit? Yun Chujio soon cast aside her childish thoughts because the weak-looking rabbit actually spat out a wind blade. Chapter 53. You want to get close to me, huh? The wind blade from the gray rabbit was very sharp. It managed to cut off a twig that was about the breadth of a finger. Yun Chulu and Yun Chuba jumped out, and 2 of them started to fight with the gray rabbit. Yun Chujio found this incredibly interesting. Those from the 1st level in Spirit Refinement Realm to the 3rd level in Spirit Refinement Realm could not release their spiritual energy yet. The only thing better about them compared with normal humans was that they were more agile. Those at the 4th level in Spirit Refinement Realm could release their spiritual energy to launch attacks, and they could make a shield with their spiritual energy to protect themselves. Yun Chulu was at the 3rd level in Spirit Refinement Realm while Yun Chuba was at the 2nd level in Spirit Refinement Realm. Neither could release their spiritual energy, but fortunately, the gray rabbit needed some time to gather its power before it could spit out its wind blade. So, both of them could still handle the rabbit with their nimble movements. After half an hour, the gray rabbit became a dead rabbit. With a heroic air, Yun Chuba spoke to Young Jio. Young Jio, did you see how capable I was? I'll take care of you in the future. Yun Chujio put on an admiring look. Sixth brother, eighth brother, you're both awesome. You're so ignorant. It's just a first-tier windblade rabbit, I can kill it alone. What's so amazing about that? Yun Chuki sneered by the side. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes in her heart. Is Yun Chuki's zodiac sign a hedgehog or something? Yun Chuba was naturally unwilling to accept what she said, so he started to argue with Yun Chuki again. Yun Chuyi's expression darkened. Chuki Chuba, if both of you keep causing a ruckus, go home. Yun Chuki and Yun Chuba glared at each other. They stopped talking, and they looked rather ashamed of themselves. Everyone continued to walk further into the forest. They met some monsters back to back, but those were just first-tier monsters. Yun Chujio never really realized just what kind of strange world she had come to in the past. But since she saw a rabbit spitting out a wind blade, a pheasant whose feathers could become arrows, and a squirrel that could spit fireballs, she felt like she had finally uncovered a corner of this world. These first-tier monsters may have had their special abilities, but there was a gap between each time they could use their abilities. Therefore, although the disciples of the Yun family suffered from some superficial wounds, they could still handle the monsters. In a while, the guards had held quite a number of spoils in their hands. Very soon it was noon. The group efficiently prepared the prey and started to roast the meat. Yun Chujia's eyes sparkled. Chapter 54. Metal Bone Bear. A large metal bone bear ran over, grabbed its prey on the spit, and ate it. Yun Chujio was so livid that her eyes turned bloodshot. Damn it. I haven't had enough yet. How dare you come over and steal my food? Yun Chu was terrified by the fierce aura oozing out of Yun Chujio, and she thought, what's going on with Young Jio? Is she too scared? Yun Chuyi glowered and whispered, theoretically speaking, this area should only cover the first-tier monster's sphere of activity. Why is there a second-tier metal bone bear over here? Big brother, this metal bone bear could have been attracted by the monster meat. Although it's quite hard to deal with it, we can still work together and kill it. Who knows? Maybe there are crystal cores in its body. Yun Chuba said excitedly. All of you do not get involved. Chusher and I will handle this. Yun Chui glanced at Yun Chusher, and both of them blocked the metal bone bear by positioning themselves in front as well as behind it. Yun Chui raised his hands, and a wind blade went flying toward the metal bone bear's chest. Yun Chujio was excited. So, that's how spiritual energy looks like when it's released. That's so cool. If I'm at the 4th level in Spirit Refinement Realm, would I be flinging celestial lightning bolts every time I raise my hands? Phew. It sounds awesome even when I'm just thinking about it. Although the wind blade cut into the metal bone bear, it brought no damage to it due to its rough and thick hide. It did, however, make the metal bone bear furious. The metal bone bear growled, raised its large paw, and waved it at Yun Chui, who was in front of it. Yun Chui immediately moved his body and dodged the hit from the metal bone bear. At that moment, Yun Chusher waved his hands behind the bear, and a fireball the size of a fist flew toward the metal bone bear. The metal bone bear's black fur instantly started to burn. The monster may have been huge, but it was very agile. It rolled on the ground and extinguished the fire. It was now completely livid. It started to growl loudly. Growl? Similar growls could be heard from a spot not far away. Oh no! There is still another metal bone bear nearby. Yun Chui was terrified. The metal bone bears could be a couple. It would have been easy to fight with just one, but to fight 2 of them would be incredibly hard. However, it was too late for them to leave now. Another metal bone bear, which was even larger than the first, growled and rushed toward the shrub where the members of the Yun family were hiding in. Oh no! This is a 3rd-tier metal bone bear. Climb up the tree. Yun Chu pushed Yun Chujio away. Meanwhile, the other members of the Yun family fought with this metal bone bear. Those who were not engaged with the first were all at the 3rd level in Spirit Refinement Realm, so they were not able to perform long-ranged attacks. But the metal bone bear was extremely powerful, and soon, some guards were injured. The others also suffered varying degrees of injuries. Yun Chujio sat on a tree branch and frowned. They're just attacking without any order at all. Seriously, they'll just waste their energy, and the results will not even be good. Yun Chujio's mind raced, and she thought of something. She shouted loudly, "Fifth sister, use your sword and stab its eyes. Sixth brother, cut its ears off with your saber. Seventh sister, use your sword and poke its asshole." One Yunchuki was so livid that she almost got a stroke when she heard that, but she knew it was not the time for her to get mad. Hence, she could only focus on attacking the metal bone bear's asshole like a tragic heroine. After 1 hour, both metal bone bears fell to the ground with a boom, and the members of the Yun family were so exhausted that they collapsed on the ground as well. Yun Chujio climbed down the tree with deft movements and kicked one of the metal bone bears viciously. "Damn you! You're at fault for snatching my roasted meat. I blame you for disturbing me during my mealtime. I'll roast you and eat your paw later." Yun Chujio were exhausted, and you can only think about food. "You're so ungrateful." Yun Chuki spat while she panted. Just as Yun Chujio was about to say something, the sound of footsteps was heard from the distance, and judging by the sound, there were quite a number of people coming toward them. Everyone raised their heads, and they saw the Bai family approaching them. Bai Moyu was leading them. "Surround them. Kill them," Bai Moyu said ruthlessly. Chapter 55. That's your love for me. Bai Moyu, are you mad? Although there has always been bad blood between our families, we have a mutual agreement to not rob or kill each other. What are you trying to do now? Yun Chui felt his heart sink. Right then, everyone was exhausted, and it was impossible for them to fight back. Even if they fought, they would definitely be killed. Bai Moyu sneered. "All of you should be grateful to Yun Chujio. If she hadn't offended me first, I wouldn't be so cruel. I'll kill all of you so that the Yun family will have no offspring. Ha! I'd like to see just how you can even think about opposing the Bai family by then." Yun Chuki glared at Yun Chujio fiercely. As for Yun Chushan, she had a strange expression as if she was cooking something up in her mind. Yun Chujio never expected Bai Moyu to do such a thing. Seriously, he's a real sinister one. Unless the Yun family managed to completely retreat today, they would definitely hold a grudge against her. Yun Chujio would not be able to gain a footing in the Yun family in the future as well. Bai Moyu, young Jio only scammed 500,000 taels of silver from you. We can just return it to you once we get back. Yun Chui hoped to buy them some time. Once everyone's stamina recovered, they might actually have a winning chance. Bai Moru walked out from the back, and she looked savage. "Brother, you don't have to talk to them. Just kill them. Pass Yun Chujio to me, I'm going to kill her myself." Yun Chushan suddenly spoke up. "Young Master Moyu, Miss Moru, since Yun Chujio is the cause of this problem, we can just hand her over to you. There's no need for us to make a big fuss over this. Even if you really fight with us, you might not be able to achieve complete victory." A thought then materialized in Bai Moya's head. "Third lady, what you've said is reasonable. All right. As long as you leave Yun Chujio behind, all of you can leave immediately." "Chushan, enough with the nonsense. Young Jio is our sister. There is no way we are abandoning her." Yun Chui rebuked Yun Chushan. "Big brother, I can't bear leaving young Jio behind too, but we can't just cast away the majority for the minority. Are all of us going to get killed because of her? Young Jio, tell us, shouldn't you be responsible for this?" Yun Chushan asked Yun Chujio, as though she could not bear the thought of sacrificing her too. However, before Yun Chujio could say anything, Yun Chu became the first to oppose Yun Chushan's decision. "No. I won't agree to it. I'll never hand young Jio over to them. If worst comes to worst, we can just fight them to the death. I won't stand for this too. I'm not afraid to die at all. I'll just be reincarnated, and 12 years later, I'll still be a man. I, Yun Chuba, will not betray my sister just so that I can survive." "Exactly. At worst, we can all die together and become siblings again in our next life." Yun Chula forced himself to stand, and he carried his large saber so that he could shield Yun Chujio. "Chusher, Chuki, what do you say? Yun Chuyi looked at Yun Chushir and Yun Chuki. Yun Chushir smiled coldly. We, members of the Yun family, are willing to fight to the death instead of staying alive without dignity. If you want to kill young Jiao, you will need to do it over my dead body. Chuki, what about you? Yun Chushin's face was a little pale. She did not expect that within just a few days, Yun Chujiao, who had been disliked by everyone, would gain so much popularity. She looked at Yun Chuki. Yun Chuki is always treating Yun Chujiao as if she's her greatest enemy. She'll definitely side with me. Yun Chujiao might be a rascal, but that's a private matter within the Yun family. Members of the Bai family, who do you think you are? Yun Chujiao still needs to remain alive to be my punching bag. Yun Chuki forced herself to stand up as well, and she brandished the sword in her hands. Yun Chushan was shocked. She had thought that at the very least, Yun Chuki would stand by her side. Yun Chujiao was extremely shocked as well. Seventh sister. It's no wonder why you always cause me trouble. So that's your love for me? Yun Chuki gave Yun Chujiao a death glare. Get lost. Yun Chushan felt deep loathing in her heart. She could not understand why these people would want to protect Yun Chujiao even at the risk of death. Still, she smiled bashfully and said, since everyone is so fearless, I will naturally not fear death as well. Come, let us die together. One that you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.